These department numbers and subsections are derived from, so that they match the account numbers at the state.
Yeah, this, the chart of account is coming from the states, but we
So
should have enough sub-classifications in there so we can distinguish between some of these.
We have to
And
figure
still
out,
summarize it, I think.
have to figure out where they, how they,
Yeah.
under what number they classify
Exactly.
legal,
On the
right?
commissioner's budget,
No, we didn't do anything.
no, but I mean, under those numbers,
I think everybody in the state, for the most part, follows this chart of accounts that's dictated by Department of Revenue.
I didn't realize that. These breakdown numbers are,
They're pretty constant. I mean, if you go to the towns and no
Really?
matter where you
Didn't
go,
know that.
they're pretty constant,
I
yeah.
can tell you Stratford County, the corrections, there's 6,100 as well.
Yeah,
oh, interesting.
Yeah, I just,
Yep.
when he came over yesterday, we started looking at it.
yeah. I mean, most of the towns, they get their chart of accounts from the state, so there's a lot of uniformity there.
Hey, what's next, boss?
One of the other things that you had suggested before is that there was a line for inmate clothing.
Yeah, break it down, I broke it down downstairs, but it's not on here for a breakdown.
Oh, okay, did you create a new line to account for mattresses and bedding? There's a new line item? Okay.
Yep, broke it out. It's not on Kathy's sheet.
Oh,
She's, has it downstairs to break out. She's already put the numbers on where it's gonna be, but, the next time she can be available, it will be broken down downstairs.
it's probably for your next meeting, we'll have the final.
Like I said, I have some other things, so we'd like to put stuff together, so for the next meeting, I'll have it all together.
Okay.
okay.
Those are the only notes I had.
Well, the other one was new equipment as well, it was a breakdown. And I
Under the-
broke that down as well, too.
Oh,
Under the academy,
Mhm.
you got 8 officers that's gonna go next year,
We have more than need to go, but yeah, I'm trying to put 8 like we did this year.
okay?
It's about $9,000 pay for the academy itself.
Office supplies. You jumped at 1,000.
You ought to be able to take that back to 3,000, I would think. Looking
Yeah,
at
you
the
could.
history.
Yep,
Take it back to 3,000.
take it back to 3,000. Other supplies.
Really no change. If you took the supplies of nursing home and moved up to that line, because we've been paying out of the other supplies with that. So as you see, that we'll be over on other supplies, but not really, because we've been paying out of that line on nursing home stuff. So I'm just combining it together to make it cleaner of what we're paying. So it's the same. The $5,000 from nursing home just been moved up to other supplies.
So you combined them? Is that what we want to do?
And as I was talking with meeting with superintendent stuff, combining some of these things, like putting all salaries in one line together, putting some other things together, when you have those fluctuations, and one is low, one is high, it balances things out. So you're not always asking to move things around, it already balances out within the line itself. So that's what I've been working on with the superintendent yesterday, and show you how that works. So I'll have that for you.
So we're going to eliminate that line, supplies from the nursing home.
We still get some from them, but the quantity that they used to get is nowhere near what you used to get. We don't get as much stuff from the nursing home, so it's just easier to put it in one line, we're paying a lot less. And as we need stuff from the nursing home. up
If
and
you're
down.
paying less, then the nursing home should also be paying less.
We don't use the same things they do, like, some of the chemicals we use, they don't use.
No, but those $5,000 that was in there for you to get out of the nursing home,
Should
I'm
reduce
assuming-
the nursing home expenses by $5,000, is what you're saying, because they.
well, if the jail is buying it cheaper, then a nursing home should be able to buy it cheaper.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
That's something we gotta look at, purchasing. Now, a question's gonna come up regarding meals.
Mhm.
Do we have fewer inmates than we had last year?
Yeah, you have a few over this year compared to last year. But again, I can't tell you, predict how many we're gonna have, and we're taking on boarders. We have one of the contracts from Rockingham, and then the US Marshals, so you don't know what that's gonna be. So when I talked to next door to Rob, trying to keep it very similar to what we had.
We get a flat rate from the US Marshals, right?
We will, yes, and a flat rate from Rockingham.
In Rockingham.
So how many individuals are we talking about from the marshals from Rockingham?
Don't know. You won't, it's no way to predict how many marshals are gonna send you, because they're gonna try to get some from Maine and around places. We could talk, a handful. Rockingham, they're gonna try to send some females, and we're 3 to 4 females up to our place, so it does spike. But again, what happens at the beginning of the year, like this year, very beginning of the year, you get an influx. There were 76 in the jail, and throughout the year, it goes low and then spikes up again. But again, you won't know. You have a new deputy prosecutor, you have a new judge coming in January. Things change every
Who
year.
sets the rate for the counties and the marshal, and on how much they reimburse us for?
The marshals, you give them all your expenses, and then they set the rate, and it's pretty standard. It's pretty close to what every county gets.
Is that $57
That would be
a day?
the Rockingham one. That is
Right.
That's 57.
that's the Rockingham one. That is
But
insane.
Dennis, when we discussed the federal program, we only talked about beginning with 2 or 3 to see if it worked out.
Mhm.
So we're not talking about a huge increase of inmates.
Well, I'll tell you, food's not getting any cheaper. When you go, look at the market.
No, and I took it down from the 218 I asked to begin with, and took it knocked down to 211, talking to Rob, and I'm gonna try to keep it, try to get as close as possible. Again, it fluctuates depending on numbers.
And the clothing for inmates.
Mhm. That's where I had the other breakdowns for downstairs, mattresses. Take away 3,000 out of that is mattresses and bedding and
That's
sheets and all those kinds of things. That was the breakdown.
Jason, with the rotating employees we have here, are we getting back all the uniforms that we, I mean, you must have a huge closet full of
No,
stuff.
understand, we buy the cheapest of the cheap, and that's 3 pairs, by union contract, what they get, 3 pairs of pants, 3 shirts, a jacket, all a Class A uniforms we've been giving them, plus their badges, pins, and everything else. They get all that. But you gotta replace almost every year. Those, the thinnest materials crawling on the floor. We don't want to go into the bodily fluids that are crawling on the floor and everything else, so they are replaced quite frequently. I mean, if we went to other places like the sheriff's department, other places where that's double the amount of what we will be paying. So we buy cheap and cheap. We silk screen shirts. We don't even have, they're not embroidered or anything else. So it's not high dollar amounts that we're spending on uniforms.
Okay.
And I had the breakdown of what he's looking for.
You store those in the maintenance building?
Which one are you talking about now?
Uniforms.
Officers or
Any
offenders?
uniforms?
No, officer uniforms, Sergeant Baker's office, they're all in there for officer uniforms. Offender clothing? No, we have right in the laundry area. Building C has a lot of different stuff over there. They also have blue pants for the outside workers. We took all those back and using the blue pants for outside workers to.
Okay, so you have no clothing in the maintenance building?
Old uniforms that jail no longer uses. There's a lot of junk over there that needs to go.
Goal is to get that cleaned out.
Okay.
Is that in Will's
Yeah.
building? Or?
Yeah. Well, you enter it from the parking lot side,
Right.
the other side. Electric expense, we're gonna be okay?
Looks like
Heating?
on par, and I was told downstairs that, we have a contract, so I'm just gonna, by looking at it, electric's be okay. Heating, I took what we spent throughout the year and again averaged it out. It looks like we're gonna be overspent. We already are overspent this year of what we budgeted. So I took what we spent this year to next motor mouth.
Can you get machine gun mouth to slow down here?
Sorry. What,
I got a question, but don't go skipping over the electric. We signed a 5-year contract here for, I think it was, for the electricity, Jason. There was a substantial increase. And what you have here is almost gonna come out to what you budgeted at the old rate. I think you gotta add some more in here.
okay.
We went from 6 or 7 cents a kilowatt to 11.5. And that's gonna affect, it's been in effect a while.
But I didn't know, I asked downstairs, they said we had a contract, so I don't know if that contract's
Mhm.
up, is that what it is?
Way up.
Okay, so I will check with downstairs of where they think that we need to go.
So what do you want to do? Put another 5 in there, another 10, or what?
Electricity.
How much you overspent by?
Electricity, I'm not. Heating, I am.
Oh,
But again, if the rates went up for electricity for next year, then
If you amortize this out, it comes out to almost 78,000, let me see, what did I have here? 21,000 each. You're gonna be, a 10 ought to do it.
When did the new rates go into effect, Dave?
I think we voted on it somewhere around June or July.
yeah.
They
So,
wanted us to do it, and we didn't get around to doing it till a month later, so
so we're paying those higher rates right now?
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
what else is like?
And we went from 7 to 11, you said,
It
in
was
kilowatts?
7 or 8 to 11 something. 'Cause I know, 'cause I voted against it, you two voted in favor of it.
Of what again?
That's exactly right.
What do you voted for?
Oh, electric contract,
Oh, yeah, the one from all the counties are
and
in
that's
the
good
pool.
for 5 years?
Yeah, we voted for that. Oh, I don't know for how many years.
Yeah,
5.
5?
yeah.
So 10
All right.
grand not covered?
How far over you on heating expense?
How far are we over, gonna be over? Actual dollars.
But something doesn't add up in my mind. If we went from 7 to 11, that's a 50% increase
Yeah.
in electricity. So how can 10,000 cover a 50% increase in kilowatt hours? This doesn't make sense to me. Is it really that steep of a jump? Because that, 7 to 11, that's 50%.
Was 8 to 11 or 7 to 11? I voted against it, these two voted
Okay,
for
but
it.
if that's true, then 90...
90 isn't gonna do it.
90 isn't going to do it. I mean, we're talking 130 if it's up that much.
I mean, the other places, everywhere electric went up the rate.
Fuel, by the time we're said and done, it's gonna be about $108,000 by the end of the year. So, again, I know that the heat's going down right now, went down in price,
A little
but I don't
bit, yeah.
know if it's gonna go back up in
Back up.
price.
Probably.
Well, propane's going up.
Yeah, some
The last 3 bills have been an increase. I think the last one was $100.40 or $1.41.9, I think, a gallon.
Do we have a contract with our propane company? A
Yeah,
fixed,
well,
fixed amount?
yes and no, we have
It's
an agreement of X amount of dollars over the end of the pipeline.
But we don't have a lock-in. You can lock in every year, right? For that price,
Yeah, and that's
to get that
coming out.
price.
believe.
The problem is, Dennis, that Eastern Propane owns the tank out here. And
And nobody else.
nobody else will fill it.
Yeah. I know. I got the same
Yeah,
thing at home.
Yeah, if you
Well,
have to rotate it.
I did some research and found out that there's people that you can hire to come make the insurance company, make the switch over, and they'll guarantee it so that other people will fill it.
But it's my understanding for propane, only the people who put here the propane tank, they can fill propane. So if you want to go with another vendor, if they put a tank, somebody else cannot come fill it. I believe you can do it for oil.
He just said
Yep.
that he researched it, and there is somebody that'll come in and certify it so other companies can fill it.
But like I said, for propane, you can have only one company. The
No,
person who put a
I'm
tank
talking
in, who
about
own a
propane.
tank.
That's what we're talking about, is propane.
Yeah, that is what I'm talking about, propane. The person, the vendor who put in the tanks, they own a tank and they can only fill it. I don't think that different companies can come
He
in.
researched it. We're going over it the third time. He researched it, and there is somebody that'll come in and certify it so that other companies can fill it.
If another company, we want to go to another company and buy a propane, that company would buy the tank. Now it's coming back to me.
Oh,
The insurance
they buy the
company,
tank?
the insurance company would come in and, because Eastern Propane isn't gonna wanna come in here and yank that bomb out of here and deliver it down the road 100 yards to somebody else.
Yeah.
They'll sell it. And then the insurance company has somebody that'll come and certify that it's okay to fill, and then we can get our insurance.
Then another companies go, okay.
All right, 115,000 will cover the
I
heating.
think so, I did break it down. Through November, we're over by $6,471.23.
Excuse me, Jay, on propane?
Yeah,
Okay.
and we still have $15,649 left in, that's still not spent in electric, so that's why I was, but again, you said the rates went up, so it's gonna spike, so that's, and heating definitely is up.
Will, how often do they come to fill the tank? Once a month? Once every 2 weeks?
July.
Once a week?
In December, January, you're looking at 4 to 5 days, 5, maybe 6 days. Well, I was calling, when I used to, it's automatic now, but I used to have to call and do it. When
Yeah,
I was doing that, it was every about 5 days on average.
every 5 days.
5 days.
That they would bring a load, which is about a third of the capacity of the, it's a 30,000 gallon tank out there, they bring 10,000 at a whack when
Yeah.
they come.
Okay,
They bring a full truckload.
Are we talking about a propane tank?
yep.
Can we go back to electric for a minute?
Yep.
If David's right, and we went from 8 to 11, that means we have to put $120,000. We're going from 90 to 120. We have that big of an increase. So 10 isn't gonna cover it, so,
Let's check downstairs.
yeah. We need some.
Check your figures.
You doubting my memory?
Well,
I know
It's-
the
it's a-
figure is 11.5 or 11.4 or it's
yeah, but it's
way
just
over
where did,
11.
yeah, but where did we come from, Dave? I mean,
Yeah.
if we can get the differential, we can put the
Right,
increase in.
and I think you're gonna find the differential because we had
Okay.
Mr. Brown here screaming about he could buy it for 4 cents and we were paying 7 or 8.
Okay, well, it's a big ticket item there,
Yeah.
and we should try to narrow in on
All
that.
right, we'll check downstairs to see what what the rate was and what it is now.
Okay,
And we'll adjust it.
okay.
Okay.
How about telephone being just 7,000? See if we can round off some of these extras. Live with 7,000 for telephone?
Like, it's fixed, rate, it's between the Fairpoint Communications, Spyglass, your internet services, and the cell phones. So you can knock it down, but when it's been knocked down past 2 years, it's been over, so that's why I put it of where,
So that's an exact number on what your contracts are. Okay,
looking back of where we are and what we spent.
I hear this.
And have we got a change in Spyglass?
Spyglass is, we paid them already. They're supposed to be cutting our rates and we're not paying them anything now. We paid them the 7,000 something.
All right.
So is that Spyglass a portion that I paid that's not gonna be paid next year?
Right.
Because I can look at that and then maybe adjust this. But again, looking at bills that we've paid and not knowing that that was something that the county was doing, and you're divvying up portions, I can look at that. So I can come back and.
No, that was a one-time charge,
Yeah.
Jason.
Okay, so let me look, and see what we paid for Spyglass and then take a look at that.
All right. Why doesn't laundry expense go down with less
People still
inmates?
wearing clothes.
But less inmates.
It's, the laundry expense is for linen, the sheets that go out every week. It's for sheets. They have to go to the company because our water doesn't get hot enough to wash them.
Is there a commercial laundry that you're sending those to?
General
Locally?
linen, same that the nursing home uses, 2 general linen, fix them up.
They're only taking your sheets?
Yeah. The linen, yep,
And that's because of something to do with the temperature, they have to bring it up to clean them, right?
correct.
And our machines won't get up that.
No.
Not the jail machines, no. I know that if they put central over there, they're talking about if they can get the water up and those kinds of things, but as it stands right now, no, we don't meet standards that get hot enough.
Okay. Travel expense. That seems high.
Next year. Adopt the budget. Adopt the
As
budget
compared
last
to
year.
other years.
Be adding another $900 for the quarter, and that only brings you up to $1,800.
Yep. And again, because of fees and conferences, also was down this year because we spent $6,500 in Reliance, so we did not do as much training this year as would have been. Maybe you can guess we won't do as much next year traveling. It covers all the costs of, anybody has to take their car to the academy when we don't have a vehicle available. It's all their fuel costs back and forth,
Yeah.
mileage. Sometimes we're able to send a
We
vehicle.
reduce it 1,000?
You can reduce anything you want to reduce. Would I recommend it? No. If you'd like to take it down 1,000, then we will work with what we got.
Well, if you look at the actual year-to-date right now, Jason, it does look, I mean, you only spent $928 so far, 9 months through the year, and you're going from $928 to $4.
This
So,
isn't updated.
Another
okay,
300.
if it's update, if this was actual, what would you be at? But best guess, 2,000, 2,500?
Maybe.
Yeah. Well, then that 4 does look a little high. 3 looks like a
3 looks
reasonable
better.
number.
Okay.
Vehicle expense, down a little. And that includes gas.
That's, yes, that's gas, all maintenance, tires, that's everything. It's down a little because last year was up for the lights, so the lights are already
Mhm.
done.
All right, I think next year we're gonna be looking at taking generator expense out and putting it under maintenance.
Is that a contract?
That's a contract.
Yeah.
It'll come out.
David, excuse me, speaking of that, it's 12 o'clock.
Yeah, I know.
Well, wait a minute, and we've got Will here, we won't be, Will, I'll have a long budget, do you want to send Will back?
We'll come back at 1 o'clock.
Come back at 1 or 1:30?
How about 1:30?
Whatever you said?
You, 1:30?
Yep, I'll be here.
Thank you.
Thank you, David.
I also think Care Grounds will be coming out of your budget next year. Put under maintenance.
What is that? I mean,
Public Works, well, Care Grounds
It's the fee we
could
paid.
be mowing lawns, it could be shoveling, getting snow. And
Nope, it's, as I looked at.
it could be waste.
It's waste. That bill
All
is-
of it's waste?
Yep, that's the only bill that comes out online is for the waste.
All right. Well,
Okay.
it'll still come out.
So that's
I had to look at it too when we looked at it. Every bill is just for waste.
Okay.
okay.
But in other budgets, Care Grounds is lawn mowing,
So
snow
that
removal.
should be solid
that kind of
waste
thing.
removal or something, it shouldn't
You're
be.
you're talking about trash,
Mhm.
Yes.
versus waste, right?
Release it. Yeah, rubbish. trash.
Do the inmates do any of the ground care around the campus?
Yeah,
They do all of it,
Yep.
They do all of it?
yes.
supervised by the farm, but,
Okay.
yeah. All right, maintenance and building repair. What is under that category? Again,
Is the roof under that?
No. Maintenance and building repair. Drainage and parts, fix toilets, doors, locks, repair to the boilers, boiler inspection, filters.
that's the
for
boilers, that's a big item.
HVAC system, repairs the HVAC system, repair heater tubes, backup batteries, paint supplies, belts, bulbs, and training service agreement as well.
You have that all itemized for the delegation?
Yeah, I mean, I have a detailed report of what we spent this year, and Joe's looking for next year. We have motors that are burnt out on some of the boilers that
Yep.
are very expensive. We had, well, let's put it this way, we're going 13 years, and we need to start looking at some of our maintenance stuff.
So where are you gonna put the roof?
You're taking it out of the wall fund.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's 13,000 in that, wasn't there?
35,000,
35,000?
correct. And-
Left?
Yes, 11,500 is what you're spending on the roof. Also in this as well, we need to repair the back staircase that didn't meet
Mhm.
safety inspection as well either. Again, some look at everyone do concrete or wood or a retaining wall should put out back too to stop that frost line from that back wall moving as well. But so at least the staircase has to be replaced.
Yeah, yeah. If I was the farm manager, I'd probably try to do that with the help that we have. That's not difficult to do. To form up a, what do you got, 4 steps?
6 or 8, it's not that many.
Not 8, I don't think.
Maybe 6.
Anyway,
The back, the wood.
there's an expense to it.
It depends how we want, Ken, I'll bring it to you if you want to do concrete and one-time deal. That's what Representative Schmidt, and when he walked up the back, said you should have somebody come in and dump
Yeah.
concrete steps and get this over with. Okay.
Water usage. You have a water meter, correct?
That's Joe, I believe so. I know we just pay, we pay quarterly on the usage, so I'm not sure what we have for meters. But I believe we have a water meter.
Can you check, Jason, and see?
Yeah, I can ask.
I believe we got a meter.
I'll check
But
with
what
Will.
they're charging you for not only your quarterly usage, but the actual amount of water,
Okay.
or how they're billing you, is, we doing it the same way as we're doing it down in the village?
We've got a list. We were provided a list, I
We
think
got
it came from
downstairs,
Will,
it's in my book.
as to who's got gas meters, who's got water meters, electric meters,
So you want me to still find out where do you have that list?
just as to how it's
How it's built?
built.
Okay.
And under new equipment,
The new equipment, that was a line that, again, downstairs is broken out into 2 separate lines, which will be firearms and equipment, new equipment.
New
Handcuffs, belly belt, shackles, duty belts, radios for officers, restraint chair, replacement straps, storage lockers.
and that's to make them all uniform.
Yes. And replacement of worn out old stuff, that's just junky stuff.
Jason, what's this insurance line? What's the $20,000 for insurance? What's that?
Property liability insurance,
That's, yeah,
why it's down there, I don't know, but it's in a weird spot.
that's with our insurance company.
Are we using the insurance company that most of the towns use in the state, or do we have private insurance on this? You know?
I think we're having it with Primex.
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 That's a pool.
Almost.
But what you're saying, under new equipment, we can't do it for $6,400.
I got a breakdown, I just want to see where it's at.
And do we have to replace this all at once?
Well, we were gonna try to replace this year, some of the stuff, but I froze the budget because we're awful darn close to going over, so almost $2,000 of it was not spent out of that line because I'm worried about the bottom line. So we did not purchase some of the stuff that we're looking at next year, again, because of medical costs, legal fees, and maintenance.
Do you realize how many times we're gonna see Mr. McCarthy in here if his bill passes? And every time we gotta change from one line item to another line item,
Yeah.
over $300, they might as well set a tent up here
We
and
gotta
come and
have
stay
the
for the year.
delegation approval.
Yep.
But, and again, that's where I want to bring back to the commissioners, you move some of the stuff into larger lines, like all salaries into a larger line, all fees and services, that include all the contracts into one line. That's what, when I have Stratford County's budget, what they're doing, so it's easier to manage in there without having to shift around as one.
But then again, there's some items that we'd like to have broken down.
You can still have it broken down. It's up to you how you want to do it. If you put it in one section, it's all there, you don't have to shuffling around, and you can still have it broken down within there, so you know exactly what everything's being paid, which is easy to do to show you what's in there.
They have it looks familiar. Does that have notes on the bottom? By line item that tells what's in each line?
Yeah, that is strictly an overview though, what they have online.
Yeah.
What I'm doing is actually a lot more detailed too. That is what their county administrator does that county administrator does that for every single department. If you look, Stratford County, I like using them. It's online, this is their budget for the entire county. The county administrator puts together, says everything that's in there, how much it is, and a brief overview of everything that's in those items for the entire county and broken out. And this is like when we talk about other things, sometimes we want to do here, and you ask, and I go, well, we can, but it costs a lot of money. We don't have the budget for it.
And that's the spreadsheet that I had started. I think I had sent samples to the board,
Yes.
but to do that manually would
Oh.
take a tremendous amount of time. And so the question was, how do we dump the data from our financial software downstairs into a spreadsheet so that can be created?
We hire a chief financial officer that should be able to get done.
If we had account administrator, we didn't have any.
I don't think
So
that
you
would
need-
solve the problem, but, okay.
I don't think you need to hire a financial officer to figure out how to get it from the information we have from there to a spreadsheet. I'll bet if somebody calls the company that has our
Most. It may be a software,
How old is that software?
All right, we satisfied with the new equipment at $9,445?
I think.
Any questions?
Do you have that breakdown for me, Jason, for
Of
the new
which?
equipment? I didn't have any breakdown.
Yeah.
Or if you can give it later to me or email it to me, whatever, it's fine.
Sure.
Any further questions on the
Nope.
So what,
jail
you're
and
knocking it
house of
down-
corrections?
Knocking it down to 6,445?
No, we didn't. Did you live with it?
You're gonna leave it at the 9,445?
Which line item is that?
New equipment.
New equipment.
Last.
All I can say is, you better have it justified, because new equipment is one of those items that they'll look at very
Yeah.
closely.
Okay. Then we'll leave that as, it's on budget committee, we'll leave it out.
9,445. All right. Any further information regarding the jail and house of corrections?
Yes. You wanna talk about
Yep, go ahead.
revenue?
You got a revenue sheet?
I gave you a packet of the all the revenue sheets in it.
I'll give you a very quick.
Oh,
one.
that was, okay.
What the jail can guarantee is the 16,800 for telephones, and if we had 3 people on electronic monitoring, that was 7,331, so about 24,000. The unknown would be the borders, when we get them, of how many in and what your revenue will be on that, so I can't put in what I don't know, because there's no history yet. Once we have some history of where we're at, then I can put in kind of where we'll be.
So,
The sheet that I got from Melissa, it shows 16.8. Did you have it?
yeah,
What else did you?
Don't know why I gave it to
can you
Lisa.
add to it?
Yeah, electronic monitoring home confinement.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's not added on there, but with 3 people being out, $7,371.
All right,
And
wait
I'll
a
make sure
minute.
that the downstairs has it.
How much, Jason, you gotta pull that machine gun in, what is it?
$7,371.
$7,371,
So total will be $24,171.
thank you.
And I know time crunch, but if you made a decision.
You got some other income? What other income do you have?
Those
Well, he
two-
just said he's got, we've got.
7,000.
The
The border's
16.8 and
coming.
the 7.3. Those two, Dave. The
Is
seven,
it-
the
what-
seven.
What's the total?
24,000.
Okay, I thought you said 40.
Oh, no.
He said, I thought he said 24.
I get my
I did
hearing
say
aids
24.
out.
24 total.
24,171.
24,171 total.
Yep.
Okay.
A couple of these things can wait. I don't-
Shoot, Jason, David, we ought to have Kathy put a line item in there for border income, inmate
Borders, I call them
income.
borders. I have put something in there.
You're not gonna put a dollar amount though, just a line item
Just a line
for a
item.
dollar?
Just a line item, because I can't tell you how many we're gonna get until,
Yeah.
like you said, 3, 4 years, I might be able to give you a running history,
Yeah.
but this is gonna be first year.
Yep.
And there
Work it out
should,
downstairs.
Yeah, take care of it. 2 other things, fire contract that needs to be signed for next year, 900 change. That's you, okay. Did you make a decision on the contract for Rockingham? Because the sooner we get that signed, I gave one last time, the sooner we get this one signed, the sooner I can send it to them to get the commissioners to sign it, to start doing that.
You got any comments on that?
No, I read it last week, and it was sorry to me.
You want to make a
I'll
motion?
give you a business card.
I'll make a motion that we sign the agreement with Rockingham County to incarcerate some of their women prisoners.
So where is the agreement? Do you have it?
I got it right here.
Oh, I didn't really.
You had it for 2 weeks.
Yeah, really? So was it emailed to us or
No, it was given to you.
don't remember getting any agreement?
I looked at your desk for 2 weeks.
Oh, it's on my desk.
$11.21.
is there a second to that motion?
I second it. All those in support of the motion, say aye.
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 I abstain, I just want to see what it is the agreement.
Okay, fire protection, $975.
Great. Appreciate it.
Is that tri-state or is that something else? What's the company name for that?
What's that?
What's the company name on that?
Tri-state fire.
Okay, thank you.
They're the only one that bid on it?
They're the ones that been doing our fire sprinkler systems.
$975.
Is that the certification for
They
the,
were just, yeah, they come in and check out they were just in there actually the other day, doing all the sprinkler heads, checking everything.
do they do this, fire extinguishers also?
And how many females, how many females are we getting here, those inmates?
Don't know.
Huh?
Unknown,
Unknown.
yeah. It's a contract to be able to house them.
I make a
Okay.
motion, we sign the contract for
Okay.
Tri-State Fire for $975. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any further discussion?
Can I see the contract? Is this a renewal?
Yep.
That's a renewal, right?
All those in support of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Didn't sign.
And I don't think that you finished it from the first
Oh, wait a minute.
contract.
I don't have to sign.
I'm sorry, you're right.
This one here.
So voted then. Okay, you can have these two back, and you can get the other signatures.
Yep. I'll take this
Anything
stuff
else you got?
downstairs. Dave.
How much was the fire agreement again for?
Okay.
You fill it in.
Do you have the amount from the other agreement, the
Fire?
fire agreement? How much was that?
This is $975.
900?
$975.
What, 975?
Do I have anything else?
You have anything else?
Not at this time, no. We just have a few people that acted up and broke a sprinkler head that we're replacing and had some mop-up to do.
Okay.
And
You're taking care of that.
all taken care of, Joe. And just again, I will let you know the increase on mental health has definitely been a spike that we've been dealing with and
Mhm.
still dealing with now for the past few weeks. But, let me get out of here.
Okay, I will recess our meeting until
Good to see you.
1:30.
Please come over in.
I will.
Thank you, Commissioner. Monday night,
We'll come back into session, and Will, I think you're the first one to finish up part of our agenda.
Have you met the commissioner-elect?
I will.
We'll do it.
Nice to meet you.
I give you my card, so you remember where I am.
Well, since you're the only one that's charged the county for a sweatshirt, it isn't very hard to figure out who you are.
What do you got, Will?
Basically going through the budget, I mean, we seem to all be in agreement. There was no real increases. What Kathy printed me off for me downstairs,
Yep,
all matches, my numbers match what you guys wanted or submitted or whatever, so.
yeah,
The only two budgetary issues that I had asked about, I wanted to ask about, was, first one was the vehicle replacement
yep,
and the capital reserve. Apparently we had the difference between what the capital reserve and the capital expenditures last year with the delegation. So we renamed it to the capital reserve.
Melissa, did you take
Is that
back?
this one?
Yes, I have another copy for,
Melissa, did you take back the minutes, or is it folded, maybe it's folded up in here?
I might have. Let me get you another set.
No, here it is, here, I unfolded.
The 12?
Yep,
Okay.
I got it, thank you.
Yep. Has it changed, Will, or is this the same that you handed out
it's the same.
before?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a 4-year plan now.
Yep.
Oh, yep.
This is the capital reserve plan that you've never put in, right, Will?
that they never accepted.
That they've never
I
funded.
know they never accepted, but McConkey's always saying you never put one in. This is the one you put in
Yeah, I
a while
put in-
back and they didn't fund.
I'm on my 3rd year now of
Yeah.
asking for this plan. As I've indicated in the red, there was no contributions received in 2013 or 2014.
Mhm.
So now, again, I'm asking for 20,000 this year. And then instead of making a 3-year plan now, I've tried to go out, reevaluate the vehicle, and have, try to extend it one more year. So if we get 20,000 for 2015, we need 10,000 for 2016, and then we should be able to replace that one truck. So that's just the same plan on that. I did update, was asked a while back to update the vehicle fleet plan for the farm. I can pass that out, not that we need to get into that right now, but I know you guys are busy, but I'll just give copies to you to, and there's one from Melissa in that packet too. Which kind of goes along in explaining with the capital reserve that I'm asking for there. So I don't know if that's something that the commissioners want to I know in the past you guys have funded, have put into your budget the 20,000 for the replacement plan. And then it's gotten taken out at the delegation level.
I thought the agricultural truck had a plow with it. That 1-ton dump?
It does.
So, what do you mean by agricultural truck for on-farm use needs to have a dumping body?
And it also, I put that, the next bullet in there, also needs a plow for backup and emergency situations. So we have 2 plow trucks.
Yep,
They're regular. That one does have a plow. We bought it with a plow.
Yep.
We won't be using it very often, but if one of the trucks, like last winter,
Yeah.
one of the plows broke, and I was down to 1 truck in the middle of a snowstorm,
yep,
this gives us the capability of hooking up to that truck and still be able to run with 2 trucks.
right, right. So, this isn't a want list, you already
No.
have this.
I already have this. This is
Okay,
just the
okay.
plan. You asked me to update the plan of what we have for vehicle fleet, and this is what we have at the farm and the maintenance, water, sewer combined.
Could you put ages on this, like the delivery truck? That's not, what is it, 8 years old?
The truck itself is actually a 2005, so it's 9 years old, going on 10. Then we have, one of the plow trucks is a 2010, I believe, one's 2012, and the agricultural truck is a 2002, I believe.
202?
Yes.
You find that that's in pretty good condition?
Yes. Yeah, we just bought it this.
Yeah, I know, but you found that it's worthwhile what
Oh,
you
yeah.
paid for it.
Yeah, and it's been a very valuable asset having that 1-ton dump. It's
Mhm.
got a very similar body built as our delivery truck does. So we've actually, because it's roadworthy and it's a good truck, we've actually been using it for a lot of 1-ton delivery, 1-cord deliveries, excuse me.
Are you doing 1 cords?
Yes, it's our minimum is 1 cord. And so we've had a lot of customers that want that, and it's been valuable for that.
I tried to get you to get a 1-ton dump a couple of years ago, when you replaced when you wanted one of those half-ton trucks, plow truck. But you got the 2 plow trucks plus the 1-ton dump, that's all right.
The 1-ton with the rack body on the back, it's not ideal for, especially in front of this nursing home, around this nursing home, it's not ideal for plowing because you don't have enough visibility around it,
Mhm.
in my feeling. There's so many people walking back and forth from this building to that building, visitors coming in, employees coming in, you really need as much visibility as possible. That's why in the past I did not want a 1-ton as our main plowing truck. As a backup, it's suitable, but not as our main.
Would you ever consider a snow blower for one of your tractors? I'm thinking right now you use the backhoe to push back the snow.
Correct.
I got a snow blower for my tractor, and it works great because the road gets narrow and narrow. I can go down through each side and blow the snow away, never see it again.
Right.
And I'm wondering if that wouldn't pay off for the future with a snow blower on your tractor that you'd use during the day, not during a storm,
Sure.
but just to get rid of the snow.
It could, just to get rid of the snow, I mean, we're already being able to do that with a 10-foot plow on the backhoe, really. And to use it during a storm,
No, you wouldn't.
it wouldn't be fast enough, and we try not to do more than, 2 inches on the ground, so you're constantly out there with something like that versus the truck.
No, I've just used that just to get rid of the snow.
I don't know that I'd have to give it some thought, but I don't know that it might be convenient, but I don't know if it's necessary
Okay.
with what we have is
All right.
going pretty good.
When you talk about the custom delivery truck for wood deliveries, what kind of area are you delivering in? How big of a radius are you delivering in?
Most of our hay customers, probably 99% of our hay customers are all within a 20 to 25 mile radius.
Okay.
And most of our wood customers, cordwood customers are the same. The campfire wood is where we go out further. So we've gone all the way down to just shy of Keene. There's one as a Washington, I believe, it's Washington, New Hampshire. There's a campground over there, that's probably one of our furthest ones, and then we go all the way up to Berlin, delivering. We got some over in the Notches, over in Franconia Notch, also in Pinkham Notch. So that one goes, especially since we've started this campfire wood business in the last 4 to 5 years, does travel quite a bit, those deliveries.
Are you keeping any track of what it costs for the campfire wood to deliver way out?
Oh, of course. And there's a fuel surcharge.
You get a
depending
surcharge,
on-
okay.
There's a fuel surcharge depending on the how far away they are.
And that goes to the state?
Yes.
Okay.
The only one that we deliver to that doesn't have a surcharge is White Lake right
White
up here in
Lake.
Tamworth.
Yeah.
So close. But every other one that we deliver to, and depending how far they go, the surcharge goes up.
Okay.
So that was the first. I don't know if there's any other questions pertaining to been trying to start this fund. Of course, I've said it before, is I think that it's, I see an example happening at the town of Ossipee, that it would be better to put a little bit of money in every year than to have these big shifts every 4 or 5 years when we need to get a new piece of equipment. But I've been not successful, I guess, in getting that, but I'm here trying again. The last issue, money issue, that I had was commissioners asked me to get a price on replacing the broken tombstones for the pauper cemetery. That was a big issue this summer. I got Laconia Monument to come out. If we ordered them right away, we'd be looking at $27.50 to replace the 10 of them. There's 10 of them that are damaged out there. If we wanted to order it this winter,
Wait a minute, when you say 20, is that 2,750 or $27.50
Each.
$2,750
for 10?
for the 10 of them.
Okay.
To have them replaced. And if we order it over the winter, so that we don't need them right away, we can wait till next spring to install them.
Yeah.
It's $2,500. It's $2,500.
And what are they? Are they engraved at all, or are they just a stone?
They're just a stone and they have the number. So the ones that broke off only have numbers, and this is to match the same size stone with the number. They measured them and they would replicate them. The only difference will be is they're a new stone. So currently the ones out there obviously have, weather age coloring. So they won't match coloring wise, but they would be a new stone, so not broken in half or chipped and everything else. So I did not put that in my budget. I thought that would be, I don't know if you want to put in capital expenditures, if the commission decides to do that. If not, I mean, that's your guys' choice, but I got the amount.
There's nothing there right now on those 10 markers?
Yeah, there's, the stones sit up like this.
Yeah.
They're basically broken half like that.
Okay.
So there's a half just sitting
Yeah.
there. So you got half in the ground, half just sitting.
Okay.
Or some of them, they're kind of like a rounded shape, and
Mhm.
some of them have huge chunks just missing out of them, basically.
Are there only 10 gone, Willie?
Yes, when I walked
Boy,
up
you
there.
drive by there, it looks like there's more than that.
No, I walked it twice, and we counted, and came up with 10 that need replacement. There are several that are leaned right over and almost basically on the ground, which he said a lot of those, if we just can take some time and take the guys up there, we can fix them back up and just
Mhm.
pack them back in. But for ones that actually need to be bought and replaced, there are only 10.
Well, why don't you, when you get a break, if you ever get one, go up there and have them set the however many there are that'll lean over.
We can't do that until next spring, now.
No, they can't do it
Right.
now.
I'll
Next
put it
spring,
on my spring to-do list
Yeah.
and send the crew up
Please.
there to take a day to do that.
Please.
So, $2,500.
And that's the only person we could get?
How about the guy up in Redstone?
Yeah, I thought, what about him? And I thought there was another one that was interested.
I only contacted one. I mean, if there's some others, I can call them. But
Why don't you, when you get
Guy
a
in
chance?
Redstone did the,
One out here.
did the brickwork for the new nursing home, I believe.
Yep.
well, the basis is you needed a if you decide you want to replace them, you need a minimum number to budget for to get this budget processing complete. I would assume So this gives us at least a number, and then if you decide you want to do that, we can go out and put it out to bid or call around, however you would like me to do it.
Yeah.
We could do that, but at least this gives us a number for budgeting purposes to start with.
Okay.
If all we're doing is putting a number on it, seems to me the major part of the cost here is the stone, not the engraving, because there's not much engraving to do if you just put the
No.
number on it. Right?
200,
Yeah,
that's $270 a piece.
yeah.
Or $250 if we.
250 apiece. You know, what is it a granite marker or what do they put in, marble, granite?
I believe they're granite, yes. There's a few of them there's 3 or 4 up there that family members have actually come back later on and they put a name and the dates and all that
Yeah,
stuff. But
okay.
majority of them, I believe it's all the way up to 100. Trying to remember, somewhere's in there, or a little over 100. They just have the number,
The
and
number.
that's it.
Oh, I remember now, David.
Go ahead.
There's a wonderful letter down the stairs from a gentleman by the name of Nye from California that's been doing his genealogical work. And he was here because his great-great-great-great-grandfather is buried in the cemetery out here. He was killed in the Civil War. And he's contacted some stone restorer around here and offered to have that one fixed up at his expense. And so I have the name on the letter downstairs of the gentleman that fixes these stones up, if you would like to contact him for another.
I wonder if he would just
Another
do the engraving, put the number on it, and we buy the stone from the granite company there in Concord. Have him deliver 10 stones, and this guy just has to put the number on it.
Swanson's,
Yeah, it seems like it'd be
Swanson
cheaper than $250 a stone.
Well,
He was shaping the stone to match the ones that are up there, right?
Exactly. He came out with
Oh.
tape measure, measured the thickness, height,
Oh.
width.
So that's
did
the
the
added
whole-
cost, is all the cutting and everything to match what's up there.
Exactly, so they all match. He said the only thing he couldn't match necessarily was the color, unless we wanted to have him come back and power wash and clean all of the stones, so they all match the new one. Color would be the only thing.
Okay, what's the pleasure of the board?
I think that we could do a little more investigation before we make a commitment. It's not a lot of money, but maybe we could save a few more bucks by just doing what you say, go to Swanson's. They've got huge machinery and cut these stones like it's a piece of pine.
So do we want to budget? I guess the question would be is if the commission wants to actually budget something, and then we can investigate all these cheaper ways to do it,
Yes.
so you can get through your budget process.
Do you have the dimensions? Do you have the average? Are they all the same, Willie?
Yes, they're all the same.
Do you have the dimensions? So we
No.
go to a place like Rock of Ages and see what they would cost to cut out 10 of them or 20 of them or whatever we need?
I don't, but I probably could call this gentleman, and he took all the measurements. I'm sure he would share that with us. Or I can go out and remeasure them. I mean,
Well, why don't we
I
not
don't
make
know,
the
but-
gentleman feel badly and you and I go up and measure a couple?
it's not a problem. We can measure them.
I'm not sure this year is the best year to do this, even though it's only
Oh.
2,500.
I know.
I mean, we've been knocking off 500 here and 1,000 there. Has anybody complained that they don't have a stone?
Yes, we
Do
got
we-
that lady who wrote me and I wrote her back and
That's because we didn't mow, right?
Well, and I think she described in the paper that
Yeah.
it was a disarray of broken stones and all
Stones, yeah.
kinds of other
Oh,
harsh
was it?
words that
Yeah.
she described it by, but that's, I think what kicked it off was that we hadn't got up there to mow it, but. So,
Do we have any kind of a record? You probably don't know. I'm just asking, maybe you do. Who is buried in number 1?
yes, there is a record.
You do have.
We do. I don't know that
Is he the poorest?
I've seen the copies of it. It lists whose name it is and buried in each stone.
Yeah?
And the dates and their birth and death dates on the list.
Where'd you see that, Will? The Historical Society?
I may have a copy down around the farm, I'm not sure, but I've seen it somewhere on this complex.
Have you?
I don't know if Deeds keeps anything like that down there, I don't know who, but I have seen it.
I have a copy.
Hmm?
I have one.
Maybe that's where I
Where'd
got it
you-
from.
where'd you get it?
I have a copy.
I think that's where I got it from, or
I
saw
thought I
it.
got it from you. So somehow there was a copy. I
Yes.
was just looking for it, actually. I have it.
And how many stones are there?
There's somewhere's around 100, give or take. I can't remember off the top of my head. It might be just 105, or it could be 97, but it's right around that area.
When was the last person put there?
The one that we
Within the
just...
last 60 years, or?
No, just the last year. Wasn't there one for the nursing home?
Well, that was the one that the gentleman got into the nursing home without signing the papers.
Right.
I don't know if he's, I'm not sure about, I'm not sure about him. I don't know if there's a new stone for him.
He was cremated.
You didn't go down and put anything in the ground?
No, I have not since I've been here. Wayne recalls doing it, either they removed something or added something back close to 20 years ago that he remembers, them having to go down for something.
Yeah.
But that was the last recollection that our department's had anything to do with it besides mowing.
Well, this gentleman didn't have anybody, any relatives or anything, didn't have any money.
If we put him in there, we probably just
Cremated.
didn't give him a stone, I don't think, because I don't see any new stones. I don't know.
No.
I could be wrong, I'd have to go look again, but he certainly wasn't on the list that we looked at.
Howie would know.
Yeah,
He'll be in 2 o'clock. Well,
He was from Franklin, or Laconia, Franklin, and his relatives were all in Manchester.
I didn't think he had any.
Well, he had, maybe, no, he had been in the nursing home in Manchester or something. There was
Yeah.
some connection
Yeah.
with Manchester.
And they didn't check the paperwork to see if
Right.
there was any coverage for his funeral expenses.
Yeah, that's right.
But anyway. Asha, what do you think we ought to do? 2,500, 2,500 for 10 stones.
For what are the stones again?
Stones for the cemetery.
And what happened with the other stones? There are no stones there?
They were broken off.
So we're just going to replace those.
if the commissioners would like me to, I'll get them replaced.
I'd like to get on with you and measure some well and just try Rock of Ages and see if they'll, a couple of places up in Barry, Vermont that make them slabs, and maybe we can get a better deal, maybe we can't, and then can't do anything till next spring anyway.
Right.
And is that
The question is whether we ought to put it in the budget or not, or can
Considering
we
what
find it in the budget somewhere else?
Considering what we have coming up for the budget, I would say no.
Is this the
Okay.
only estimate what you have?
Yes.
Okay, let's move on. We won't put it in the budget, but if we do find a good deal, we'll look to see where we can find it.
Okay.
Or we'll put it off for another year.
Okay. Those two changes, the replacement plan, whether I don't know if the commissioners want to put some money in for that or not. We'll just,
I would assume under capital reserve, we try to put it back in at 20,000.
Yep, I do too.
and then if there's any questions that the commissioners have on anything, or did they answer them?
Willie, did you put any money in here for an electric fence charger and some electric fence so that we can try to get some revenue out of the lower part of that field that doesn't get used, and we could get $100 a head for 3 or 4 cows, and we ought to be, we don't hay it, we don't do it, it's just overgrown,
They're about $45 for a charger.
not very much money.
Well, when was the last time you bought a charger?
I don't know. I had
More
one,
than
I gave it
45
away.
bucks.
It's what?
Yeah, more than 45 bucks.
145?
I bought one for around 100 recently.
100? Where are we on the pole barn?
The pole barn is not being rebuilt, as we
Right,
discussed before.
where we are on the foundation for the...
Right, I put out, I got, Commissioner Babson worked with me, we got a list of some people for concrete,
Yep.
called a couple of them. Was fortunate to finally get one of them to come out and give me an idea, an estimate. His estimate came over the $5,000 mark, so they need to go out to bid. So everybody I talked to was very busy this time of the year, so they were going to be December or later before they could actually get to the job. So I put out an RFP this week. Cheryl mailed it all out and asked to have all the quotes in by the December 9th, I believe it is, a Tuesday. So that way when we meet on the following Wednesday, we should have any of those. She put it into 2 different papers. I also emailed it. I made some changes. We've had a lot of discussion between other builders that I've talked to, staff, and some concerns that have bothered me about putting it on the back. We want to put it on the front of the barn instead of the back end of the barn. Just changing it to another doorway, basically. And also, by doing that, we don't have to come all the way out to that asphalt. So instead of making it 36 feet long, we only need to have it 20 feet long, so we can shorten it up and save some cost. But then we don't have the snow load. That snow comes in a lot down there, and that amount of space was going to barely be enough room to get a loader in there without,
Yeah.
in one slip, you would be hitting the building. So I think if we put it on the other side of the building, we won't have that concern of the snow load over there.
On the other side towards the mulch barn?
Towards the front, and that would face out, like
The
up towards.
other long side.
Correct, yep.
And there's a door opening there? I thought
Yeah,
there was
there's
only one door in the
small-
front.
It's a small door to go in. It's a
Yeah,
bigger
yeah, that
door.
door, we're gonna center it on that door.
Oh,
And then we'll have it to where it's gonna be shorter, but we also have, on that side, we've also had an idea that we wanna try with is when we make this, possibly make it to where we have a high window in it and we can back the conveyor of the processor right up to that window. So we could just process and it'll fall right into the building instead of having to truck it all the way from out back in there. So that gives us, down where it was so cramped in there that you couldn't get snow out there, let alone try to put the processor and process into it. So
Yeah.
we're trying to find ways that'll make it more efficient to get more done in less time. And so that was one of our concepts. So I put out the RFP for 20 feet instead of 36 feet. So that should already hopefully bring it down. And then we'll see what we got from there.
send one out to Hoyt
Okay?
in Conway. I can't think of his name, but he's done a lot of small jobs for me, putting in a slab or a foundation. Hoyt, I believe it is.
Okay.
I can't think of his first name.
See if we can find them and
He's right in Conway Village.
email them the RFP.
Yeah. And I don't know if you know of any other small contractors that would do it locally.
There's a couple others I was going
Was?
to email out to also if I can get a hold of them. So that's what's going on with that portion. The inside of the barn has been pretty much all stripped out of all the old pig pens. It's they're almost done with that. We've also purchased a wood stove. We've purchased the asbestos type piping that goes up, and we're installing that. They're working on that today, and we're hoping to complete the install
Where
by Monday.
would that go? Where would the stove go?
It's gonna go down on if you walked in the front door,
Yeah.
which is where we're gonna put this addition,
Yeah,
you go to the right-hand side,
oh, the right-hand side.
down that way,
Go
Down
up through
by-
the roof or out through the side?
right up through the roof.
Right up through
Down by where the other door, where your original door was.
Exactly, yep, down that way. It's off-centered, so it'll be off the peak just a little bit. We have a heating expert that works for us, and we're tapping into his experiences of 40 years of doing that, and is installing it for us.
Wood stove or propane?
Yes, wood stove.
Wood stove?
Yeah, so we'll just, it's basically gonna be just to keep the chill off. The ceiling's already insulated, the barn's insulated. It's just to keep the chill off so that the guys can work out there when it's below 30 degrees and not be shivering terribly and come
Yep.
over and warm their hands up, basically. And it only run while they're out there. And we can use that for most of our scraps and things that we tend to send out to decompose out back. We can burn those in there.
You didn't consider moving that new addition down to the end of that building, the piggery?
No, because
Versus using that door, just cutting in another door?
just cutting in that door, not putting an addition, is that what you're saying? Or?
No.
Oh,
Put the addition on, instead of having it centered on the front door,
right.
moving it down and having another door. Keep that door there so you can go in and out.
Well, you'll still be able to go in and out. You'll be able to go in and out even through the addition, because that's
You're
going
gonna
to
have
have
a garage door on the other end?
Of the addition, correct. It'll have a garage door. Then you have a door on both gable ends also. Plus you got the garage door that's currently existing where we were gonna put the addition. Plus you got a door in the back part of the old part.
Yeah.
So you have every wall in there has a doorway
Okay.
in it, so. And we may be able to even consider, when we get the contractor in, putting a walkway door in the side of that addition too, if we want.
Okay.
So
You're
that's,
gonna replace the garage door in the back, where the addition was gonna go on?
we're probably gonna have to replace that. It's getting to the point where it can't stay on the tracks anymore.
Yeah.
It's extremely old back there, so it's a short door. It's 7-foot door or something like that, so it shouldn't be a real huge expense.
Sometimes they have them for sale in the market board. Anyway,
So that's what's going on with the with that.
so
that
the
project.
bids are supposed to be in on the 9th of December?
Correct. They'll run the paper next week. I believe the Independent's running it right before Thanksgiving.
You think they will pour it in the wintertime? I'm sure they pour, but the experience has been, it's not good to pour concrete in the wintertime.
Just about, they're pouring it, all the contractors now are pouring year-round. And
Yeah.
they've got enough antifreeze in it, so.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, you're right. 10 years ago, now they're
No.
pouring all winter
No.
long for the most part, so.
Yeah.
My concern is that, is it as strong, and most of the contractors are saying,
Yeah,
don't worry about it.
yeah.
I mean, I'd prefer probably just to hold off till spring, because we have warmer
Yeah.
weather, but, I mean, we need to get this done, and like I said, they don't seem to be afraid.
March
Yeah.
1st to get it
Yeah.
done.
Right, we got that time limit there too.
Oh, I see, yeah. Yeah, I guess you're right.
We're kind of behind a couple of time crunches that we don't get to control, so.
And there's enough money carried over to cover that, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
The other quick things, if you're asking, we're pretty much all the hay is gone for the year. We've got a little bit left, but I got a customer coming this afternoon that's gonna take most of it, and I got another one coming Monday morning that's gonna be taking the rest of it probably. Cordwood is all, I've cut off taking any cordwood orders, including cap orders at this point. We have a few left on the list that we're finishing for cordwood, and then we'll start delivering to our cap customers. And then that's all we're gonna do, because we need to save the rest of the wood that's in our inventory for the campfire wood
Firewood, yeah.
program. We've had a lot of things going on at the water department in the last couple of weeks, but everything should be back to normal for the most part. We had a problem, started off with, we had a problem with our chlorinator pump, and we called someone to, we worked on it, we couldn't get it, we called the company to come in and look at it. He got on our system and did something that messed up with the levels of our reservoir. So once we realized that, we had to call them back, get it fixed. Well, in the meantime, while it's trying to fill back up to the right level, the fire department was flushing hydrants for the year, which was all pre-coordinated,
Yeah.
but 2 weeks before, so that kind of, we didn't realize it was all gonna happen at the same time, that this was gonna happen, so things kind of got all messed up, and, but we've got it all set back now, our reservoir's back under control, we've got our chlorination pump working again, so everything should be.
Did you have to buy a new one?
No, we were able to, we had to get a replacement, rebuild kit, basically. And there was a couple of seals that we had to put in there, and then to be able to get it to reprime, and then once it reprimed, we were able to get it working again.
Did you just get an inspection sheet?
Inspection sheet?
Yeah.
Section of what, David?
Yes.
You got that?
Yes. What happened was because of the water being low, and then the fire department also, we kind of had a perfect storm of things.
Mhm.
So this water, we discovered the water being low on Monday. Tuesday, they pumped the hydrants while we're trying to fill the thing back up. Wednesday was our time to do the testing. So because of all this water movement so much, we didn't have the amount of chlorination in it that we generally do. So when we sent it out, we got a hit on it, which means that you have to retest, and that happens occasionally.
Mhm.
You have to retest within a certain amount of period of time. We've retested this week, and because everything's back to normal, we're fine. I haven't heard back from the lab. I would have heard probably yesterday if there was a problem. I never heard from the lab, so no news is good news usually in that realm, and we should be all back. If we would have had two negative hits, then we'd have a problem as far as notifications and all kinds of things that would have to be, that the state requires you to do. But one hit, it happens every now and then, and this perfect storm of low water and all that kind of stuff is
Mhm.
what basically set it off. And but we've retested all those, and I haven't heard back from the lab, so we should be in good shape. The last couple things has just been working on putting machinery away for the winter, and then pulling out our winter machinery and doing maintenance on that, getting the sander out and going, the snow blower, the plows. Also getting the salt and sand shed filled up. Yesterday we put 2 loads in, which is generally the amount we do. We'll probably try to stuff another load in there if depending on how December looks, if we can fit it in there. But other than that, just the basic kind of getting ready for winter type stuff on the complex. It's kind of what's been.
Is there anything planted in the high tunnel?
Yes, Olivia has onions planted in the high tunnel, I think radishes, and some kind of greens. I don't know what type of lettuce greens that she has going in there. She has a time trial that's going on in conjunction with Grafton County and down in Durham and theirs, and she, for a couple, 2-3 weeks in a row, she planted certain things, and then that's what they're doing their study on, is how late can you put onions in that you're still going to get a productive crop, and those kinds of things.
How much space are we gonna have in that for producing our own stuff?
As far as I know, she has, the amount of space she's using right now fills up that table that you have right there pretty much, so the
Okay.
thing is,
So then in early spring, we can start stuff in there for the nursing home.
correct, as far as I know. That was the plan.
Yeah.
Going forward, is that we were gonna start putting stuff. Some of those things might be in conjunction with a trial she's running.
Yeah.
But, that's the plan.
Okay. Go ahead. Sorry.
Any idea where we're out of hay? Got any idea how many bales we sold this year?
Money-wise, I can tell you, we are around $26,265. I've got probably close to another $1,000 that'll be coming in on top of that, so we'll be around $27,000 basically.
For hay.
For hay. That'll probably be.
And
ours,
you
so-
predicted 35,000.
Correct. That's what we put in the budget for last year.
So we're only coming up with, you said 27,000?
Correct. We didn't get as many bales this year as we have in the past. It was good hay. It came out, came on early, but every one of my fields that we did, looking at my records from the year before, we were down anywhere from 100 plus in some fields. So wood, if you're curious about wood also, Commissioner, we're around $53,758 is what I have right now, and I expect that to be close to another $4,000 on top of that, so we'll probably be somewhere in the $57,000 to $58,000 range. We budgeted for $50,000, so, and then the garden, we finished at $4,836. Out of that, I split it into 2 categories. I split Mountain View community, because that's not real money, it's coming in, and then everything else. Mountain View took $4,100, $4,145 out of that $4,800 for them, and then the other almost $700 was from outside sales. So we really gave most of what we grew this year was all taken to the nursing home.
And that includes blueberries.
Correct. They took probably 90% of our blueberries this year, which is very unusual for us. They took them all and froze them to use them later on, and did a very good job with those. We have other places we generally sell to, but we held back and sold them all to the nursing home.
What'd you sell them to the nursing home for?
I think it was $2.50 a pint. Recalling off my top of my head, I believe it was $2.50 a pint.
Yeah, it's not bad. I get $3 a pint. You can
Yeah.
go up a little bit.
Not too much.
What's that?
Not too much.
Basically, all the prices for Mountain View this year, we've had some discussion, Rob and I, and he gave me the website through the Maine, whatever that place is in Maine that they buy a lot of stuff from. He gave me the website.
Cisco?
No.
No?
Fresh Maine products.
Native produce.
Yeah.
Native
Maine
products,
So-
fresh Maine products, something
He
like that.
gave me his password on there, and he didn't want to pay more than what they paid. He wanted to charge.
Yeah.
So all the products that we grew, I went in, compared their prices, and just took that average of what they were charging, and that's how I set the prices.
Okay.
So that's where we came up.
Could they take more?
No, I don't think so. I mean,
Could they
that's,
take another variety of vegetable versus all zucchini?
well, I
If
guess
you-
that would be,
If you get the greenhouse growing, for example, you grow tomatoes in there. Did you have tomatoes to sell to them out in the
I
field?
had so many tomatoes, we wasted
You did?
truckloads of tomatoes that went
Okay.
nowhere probably.
And peppers too?
Our peppers, the geese ate them. We didn't get any peppers this year.
Okay.
But we grew a lot of variety of things this year. I mean, we had egg, Rob gave me a list of stuff that he wanted, and I went right down the list and grew almost
Yeah.
everything that he gave me besides
good.
greens.
Good.
Because those are hard to grow in the black plastic
Yeah.
like that. But I mean, wax beans, green beans, they did a lot of those. Tomatoes, sweet corn, eggplant, cucumbers. Our peppers failed on us. We grew some squash, some pumpkins. I even tried, not that they did very good, but I tried rutabaga and some other things that he had on the list. And so we grew a wide, it wasn't 2 or 3 items that
Yeah.
apparently we keep, there's this misconception that's all we do, but it's
Yeah.
not been that way since I've been here. And this year was even more expansion onto the varieties.
And you found a home for all those vegetables? I mean, you didn't throw anything away for the most part.
Anything that was, at the tail end, we had tomatoes, small tomatoes, and we didn't have time the nursing home wouldn't take them. They were overloaded on tomatoes. So normally if the nursing home doesn't take them and I can't sell them somewhere, I donate them to the food banks. This year, just because when the tomatoes all came in, we were behind on wood orders, and my directive from the commissioners were to worry more about filling the wood orders because that's where we make the money. So we lost a lot of tomatoes because the nursing home wasn't going to take them. I had to either pick from sending them to the food bank or spending our time making some money, and that was the choice that was chosen this year. But we
I'd
did-
like to find a way to get it to the food pantries in Carroll County if we could. 'Cause
Yep. Yeah.
It's one of my, I think I was telling one of the commissioners earlier this year, it's one of my favorite things to do. I took up 170 pounds of cucumbers one day up to the food bank, up to the
Ossipee?
Ossipee Concerned Citizens.
Okay.
And it was right at lunchtime, the whole room was full, and I had never been in there before. I usually send one of my guys, and they were all busy, so I went up there, and I found the lady, and I says, I got some cucumbers. And she says, oh, wow, cucumbers, and I hear some people kind of listen, I see them kind of listening, and she says, oh, just bring them in here, and I says, well, I got 170 pounds of them, where do you want me to go with them? And the whole room, wow, 170 pounds? But to me, that's one of the best feelings you get is to do that to those folks and be able to provide that. So I am a huge supporter of doing that, but I have to weigh what's
I
better
understand.
for that
Yeah.
too, so.
Understand.
So basically, your income, your revenue is about the same. You were down in one, but you're up in another.
Correct.
So,
Correct. We're still back at the same spot we have been every year that I'm here, though. Philosophically, we charge the farm, takes a lot of expenditures to make the other departments, when it comes to the maintenance, look better.
yeah.
And we're still at that point. And that philosophy, as much as I tried to change that last year, didn't happen. And so when you look at our revenue versus our expenditures, they don't match. It looks like we're losing a lot of money on the farm.
Yep.
But it's also because we don't charge the proper amounts that would cost to
Yeah.
take care of other places. So that's just kind of the whole and the philosophy that we've.
I think that's what the delegation has got to understand, that, you know, they keep saying we're losing money on the farm. Well, we're really not, because we're not getting a fair price, but we're keeping it low, so the nursing home doesn't get hit with a high price for food.
Food or the services, a lot of it is wrapped up in the services that we provide when it comes to our labor and
Mhm.
our expenses to run equipment and all those different things. A lot of them, I've been trying to slowly move them out of the farm, but there's still a lot of them in
Yeah.
there, and it's
Yeah.
just a philosophy the county's always had, is to let the farm absorb it and try to make it better for the others.
Mhm.
So I just want to make sure that's pointed out. I know that you're new here and stuff with this, and that's why a lot of times when you look at these numbers, they look like I'm going to lose a lot of money, but it's not fairly proportioned either. And
Understand that.
we tend to take the brunt of it, and
We
that's
did come
fine.
very close within the last couple of years of breaking even.
Last year, 2013, we were within about 6,000, and I did a bunch of research working with the commissioners. We did a lot of work to try to break that 6,000, maybe even show a profit on the farm, but there's a few delegation, 1 or 2 members that didn't like that, and they kind of just did their own thing and destroyed a lot of that work. So we're kind of right back to where we're at. So
Okay.
the polite way now that I say is it's just we absorb some of the costs for the other places, because that's, at the end of the day, that's what it ends up happening.
It's a challenge, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a very, very uphill challenge.
Well, I think you know, you've got our support.
Yes.
We know what you're doing and how you're doing it and why your budget isn't breaking even or making a profit. That's something we have to live with and try to continue to support.
Is there any other? I guess the only other question I'd
There are
have.
no other changes, right, in your budget?
No other
You're all the
changes.
same?
The other question I guess I was gonna have, is we talked about a little bit last time I was here, beginning of the month, of this Department of Public Works department, and I know there's been, Kathy tried to do some things, and it's a lot of work or whatever, but I guess maybe that's something that's gonna get worked out in the subcommittee level, possibly, if they still choose to change that, but.
The problem comes in separating out maintenance and septage. If we want to know what one costs, we have to leave it the same.
Right.
If we don't, we can combine it all into one, which might add a lot more numbers to one budget, because there's so much difference between the two. I don't know, we can talk about it some more maybe next week, or subcommittee can put it together.
I think the subcommittee's gotta do it, David, because from what Kathy said this morning, it's just gonna be, if we pull them out, it's just gonna make it more confusing for the delegation, so why don't we leave it up to the delegation to figure out how they want us to set it up.
I just want to make sure that the commissioners have that in mind, because I'm sure that question is going to be brought up
Yeah.
when we get to.
They wanted a public works and agriculture budget sheet, which would take in the farm, the septic, no,
Yes,
sewage and maintenance.
right.
I don't know why sewage and maintenance can't be put together, but we'll look at it some more. We'll leave it the same. the figures are there, so it's just combining stuff,
Right.
which I'm not sure is to the benefit of anybody, actually. How are you gonna sell the purchase resale? You got 17,000 in the budget.
Correct.
We're not gonna have a logging job done to produce enough wood for campfire wood?
Talking with Wendy, our county forester, she's actually been the last few weeks out marking trees and
She has
tallying
been?
things. Yeah,
Okay.
she's been out there. She's actually been getting other county foresters to come and meet her at certain days to give her a hand. There's two of them out there marking, and one tallying seems to go better, I guess.
Huh.
So the next compartment that's scheduled for a cut, we have several in our forestry management plan, and that we keep rotating to different compartments. The next one is primarily has a lot of saw logs in it, has softwood in it. She figured that there'll be pretty close to 100 cords of cordwood in there. And that's just a shooting off the hip estimate of hers.
Mhm.
She said as she gets things tallied, she'll know a little bit more. Taking that into consideration, in October when I had to put this together, I budgeted to get in another 100 cords for us. And
Buying
prices-
in another 100. Yep.
Exactly, and that's what that 17,000 is for. The price is as high as I've ever paid right now, hoping by the time next year when these budget things clear up, that the price will have dropped maybe. But if not, this is what we're faced if we want to get the product in order to resell. So,
Cordwood right now is really high, the prices are. Who actually does the logging? Who cuts the
We
tree?
put it out for bid.
You put it out for bid?
yes,
They did it the last time.
they
They,
out of Porter, Maine.
Okay.
We've also had tailors out of Porter, Maine.
Okay.
They come in with
They have color bunches and skitters and the
Oh,
whole
yeah.
They chip
thing.
it, they chip it, everything. They leave the forest looking very nice.
Okay.
The other thing that sometimes there was confusion, I think, on the delegation a year or so ago is they were saying, oh, well, don't we just groom the forest to have all this firewood? But in theory, in good management of a forest, firewood is a byproduct. You're not managing a forest for firewood, you're managing it for the lumber production because that's where your real money is. So there was a little, she was trying to explain that this is a byproduct, and yes, the county farm with the inmates, convert that and make a good profit, but you can't just manage towards that, otherwise you're gonna manage your land into disarray. You're not trying to do that. So we made out of this last cut last year, somewhere give or take around $10,000, I believe, that came off of that, plus our whole year's worth of firewood, which we've converted to firewood, to campwood or cordwood.
Okay.
So that's the resale purchase, to answer your question, that's the resale purchase plan, is to buy in
Okay.
enough wood to keep us going.
so 17,000, bring in 100 cords?
I hope so, unless the price keeps going up, but that was the last time I had some, I made a call, that was the price.
Do you put that out for bid?
In the past, we haven't. In the future, I would like to, because now we have a new machine. In the past, we had a small machine, it could only take small wood, and it's hard to find people that can provide enough quantity of small wood. Now we have a big machine that can take bigger pieces, so I would like to see what else we can, put it out to bid and see what else we can to fulfill that, because, like I said, we have that ability
Yeah.
now.
I'm sure when you do check with Wendy, because
Yeah.
she's got a list of all the loggers in Carroll County, I would hope that it would go to somebody in Carroll County, but
Right.
we'll see where the best bid comes.
Historically, the cordwood prices have been following petroleum prices, and with petroleum coming down, hopefully the cordwood is, but I don't know. They tend to move together, but that's not,
Historically.
yeah, so maybe it's gonna come down for us.
We had a guy in the other day that did a job for us, but he was saying that he heard that up in Maine, the small, straight hardwood timber, they're cutting them down to make like 4x4s or 6x6s out,
Huh.
and they're using those for a lot of different.
Pallets? No?
No, they told me it was for like wetland crossing areas throughout the state of Maine. I don't know if something happened there or whatever, but
For bridges
matter
and
of fact, I
stuff?
know where it came from. Is a local guy's son is now working for a logger, and he was telling us that. That's what they're using a lot, and that's amongst many reasons, I'm sure, pellets, all those other
Yeah,
things
yeah.
have really skyrocketed. But hopefully it does historically follow, so
Yeah.
hopefully it will go back down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just to follow up, the only change you made to his budget was putting 20,000 in a capital
In the capital
line.
reserve.
Can you tell me
Yeah.
what line that is? I don't,
Well, we don't have a line, probably 104,
so that would be creating a new,
a new line, yeah.
okay, thank you. And I found that list,
Oh, you
the
did?
cemetery list, I emailed it to you.
Okay, great, thank you. I'll print that off and make a copy for each of the commissioners if you'd like, and leave it in your office.
Okay,
Thanks, Will.
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Keep well.
Have a good day.
Now, the big-
Page 27.
What page are they on, Dave?
I don't know yet.
It's, you're looking for the nursing home?
Yep.
It splits in the middle of it, Denny, the home, somewhere around 23 or 24, or, no, 25.
37.
37?
Got it, yep.
Well, 37's the annex, so 38, right?
Nursing home and,
Thank you. Paula, have you met Denny?
No.
Commissioner Miller?
Paul Coates.
Yeah, Paul,
Thank you.
thank you.
Yeah, or the office manager at the, is that your title, Paula, office manager?
Your finance,
Finance.
Finance?
finance person at the nursing
Nursing
home.
home.
You got some changes for us, Howie, or?
No, I think, yes, we are good as submitted, but we just want to be sure to address any concerns or questions that you have. The sheet that I gave you is because I always like to keep everything to one page to show you the comparisons, but they are all Kathy's figures, so there's no change in the figures. Of course, the big change is adding $1.8 million to our budget
Yeah.
for debt service.
But you were lucky, the last couple of years, it wasn't in your budget.
Oh, well, we were very lucky.
Yeah.
Now, theoretically, I guess strictly from an accounting perspective, this is more of a cash statement, because the interest certainly belongs there. The principal part probably doesn't, but it is a cash item and has to be accounted for someplace.
Mhm.
Truth is, I'd rather not have I'd rather see the principal go to an asset account, but then I'm sure somebody would figure out that we would need to pick up a depreciation account, which would be still significant, but.
Mhm.
But I've tried to attract, for your purposes, when you get down to line 16, so you can compare year to year, which I think is still important. You can show the expenses without interest or debt. So you can see the Kathy's format is line 15, and then if you're trying to compare year to year before the major change, it'd be line 16 and 17. But what we really have for you is we're looking at a budget that's increasing, that we proposed to increase 1.6%, and that's relatively modest, given that we're confronted with some health costs, when someone, now health insurance, there's no change in staffing, there's no additional hours, but we have seen some changes where there's change in personnel, where we do pick up people on health insurance that we didn't have on health insurance, and that could be a major change. Notably, if you look at the change it's a singular change in recreation and activity, line 10. Nothing's really changed in recreation and activity cost-wise, with the exception of you replace one person who didn't have health insurance with a
Yep,
person
now
who
they have
does, and the budget goes up.
Yep. But there's no wages no wages in here, right?
just from last year's, but there's no provision for a future increase.
Yep.
The only increase that's in there that we'd actually like to get your formal approval on today is an increase in private pay rates. And so what we've recommended to you is an increase a little under 2%, a flat $5 a day increase for our private pay.
So it changes to what?
That would change to 305 and we actually have two tiers. We have an old tier
Yep.
and we have a new tier.
So the new tier would change $5.
In fact, both would change $5.
They both would.
Yes.
But one would still be significantly less than the other, but they would move up together. It's not a tremendous amount of money in the overall scheme of things, but it's a matter of if you fail in any given year to provide, reasonable increases, it looks to be like a horrendous increase when you try to catch up in the future.
So it's gonna be $305 a day for new people?
$330 for new admissions,
$330.
$300 for current.
$300 for county?
For current,
Current.
For the older, for
For the
long
old-
term.
For the
the
ones that
long-term
are already
ones.
there,
right.
yeah. Okay.
The reason we're asking for that now, in order for that to take place January 1st for this
Yeah.
budget, notice has to go out before December.
Yep.
We need to give 30-day notice.
Do I hear a motion or further discussion to increase the private pay $5?
So it goes from 325 to 330.
$325 to $330.
And are we lower than the other nursing homes, the private pay, we're still lower?
We are, although it's not a good comparison because very few, if you look at Wolfboro Bay and Mineral Springs, the two closest nursing homes, they each only have one private room. So there's not a great market. We're the only ones that have this kind of accommodations, and this is at the low side. If we went to, say, Meredith, for example, the rates would be 360 plus. So we are still low, but we're a lot better than we were.
Well, let me ask you this question, is $5 enough? I've always been against increasing private pay way back because a lot of them are local residents and it uses up their money pretty fast. But
I'm glad that we're
we
in the
gotta look at other
ballpark.
nursing homes.
I'm glad that we're in the ballpark. Before, we were so low that
Mhm.
it would be it almost as though it was unfair competition with the private sector.
Oh, I
At
see.
least now we're in the ballpark. There could be capacity to go up, but I think to do that, I'd want to be able to give you a more formal analysis rather than just have me, anecdotally or intuitively say that we could go to 350 or 360. Because we also have to be sensitive to the fact that every time we go up $5 or $10, we could reduce our census, our percentage. So we could have a higher yield on a fewer number of units, which might not be in our best interest.
Mhm.
But you said the competition, Howie, is 360 for a double room, is that right?
Well, it's in
About-
Mineral Springs and Wolfboro Bay, they're around 330 for a double room.
For a double, and we are,
And we're 330 for a single
Single
room,
room.
which compares to about 360,
60 for-
370, 380 in the Meredith Laconia market. And I'm not sure about the Rochester market.
I guess my take on it, Dave, is that, the taxpayers are paying the difference. And if our rates are low for private pay, seems to me we have to try to make them competitive to the nursing homes that are in the business of being nursing homes. So, I understand where you're coming from in trying to take care of the citizens in the county, but at the same time, whatever the citizens don't cover that are living over there, the taxpayers cover, which
Yeah.
is that fair to the taxpayers,
Yeah.
so.
Do I hear a motion?
What is the motion for the 330?
Motion would be to raise the daily rate $5 for both those that are presently in the nursing home and any new ones that come in. The new ones that come in would come in at $335. The old ones that are still in.
$330.
current-
$330, what did I say, 5?
35,
Yeah.
yeah.
35, all right. And the new ones would be
$330.
The
The ones
current
that-
is
the current
New ones would
300.
be 330,
And-
the old ones would be 300. Okay. That's that's what we're talking about. I'll make a motion, we go up $5. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Do I hear any further discussion? All those in support of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, nay.
Opposed.
Why?
Every year, it wasn't too long ago, it was fairly reasonable to be in the nursing home. Granted, it wasn't a very nice facility either, and part of the price ought to be based on what kind of a unit you have, but last year we went up $10 or $15, was it not, Howie?
For new people.
For new people, but not, you also went up for the old people, but not as much.
Correct.
I would just like to see some kind of a plan established to how we're gonna do this over the next 5 to 10 years, so that people making a decision where mom and dad are gonna go, or where I'm gonna go, have some idea what it's gonna cost down the road. And if we arbitrarily come in here every year, well, if the competition up here is $10 more, so we'll go up 5, or we'll go up 8, doesn't make sense to me. I think we ought to have a plan.
Dave, the other side of that is, at the minimum, we ought to be keeping up with inflation.
That's true, Denny, I don't
Okay.
disagree with that.
And-
But if you
and when
vote for
and
the
when you're
5,
talk- When you're talking $5 on 300, that's
You're not
not
keeping
covering
up.
inflation. So, I agree that, elderly ought to be able to plan, but none of us here can control inflation. If we hit 2-3% a year, we can't continue to have the taxpayers absorb the difference. So, I think
go ahead.
I think that, $5 is not a big hit, and at least it helps a little bit keep up with the cost of food and energy and everything else that we're absorbing.
I guess my only argument to that would be, and I believe you're correct, is if I vote in favor of the $5 increase, I've lost my leverage to get a plan here.
Okay.
And
No, you haven't.
no, you haven't.
No, you haven't.
No, all you have to
We
do
can
is-
request that anytime. What are
You
you
tell us,
talking about?
I think the idea of having a multi-year plan is just forecasting is important. And you just say when you want to have the date for it. And I'd actually feel better about doing
when
that.
can you have it, Howie?
To do it, we're in such an odd market area. It'd be a kindness if you said February 1st instead of December 1st.
You got a deal, I'll vote yes for the increase, and you come in here February 1st with a plan for
That's,
5 years.
That's eminently reasonable.
What we're talking about is an increase of about $18,000 a year after the first of the year,
It helps.
$5.
Now, what'll help even
At
more,
100 beds filled.
but see, we're only talking about 20% of our population being private pay.
Oh, that's true.
In fact,
That's true.
the biggest single factor that we want to do, if we can move that 20% to 25%, that's ideally in our financial forecast. We wanted to have 10% Medicare, 25% private pay, and 65% Medicaid. We're a little bit light on the Medicare end and the private pay end, and to the degree that we can get a better case mix.
So we're losing a little bit. We were around 26, 27 people in private pay.
Well, now came in at that low rate. They came in well, of course, we have turnover. People die.
Yeah, yeah.
They didn't leave to go someplace else.
So we're down to 20%, 20 people?
Probably a little,
Really?
and maybe even maybe just a hair under that.
Huh.
At a greater rate, so a greater yield per
Yeah.
unit. But
Yeah.
I'd like to see that.
But we were the highest in the state as far as private pay.
We were. We also had the lowest rate per day. And the only
You
one
can look at
providing
that
private
way,
road.
All right.
So you're gonna take the vote on, or can I change my vote to yes since I've got to make a
Well, we'd have to reconsider. You wanna make a motion to reconsider?
Yeah, make a motion.
I'll second it.
Okay.
You didn't even make the motion. What are you second?
He made
I
a
guess those
motion,
that
yeah.
vote in the affirmative have to make that, right? So I'll make the motion that we reconsider,
That's right, though, the person voting,
and you can second it.
I don't know that I can, but I think you're right. I think both the second and the motion have to come from somebody that voted on the prevailing side.
Asha, you gonna
Okay.
second it?
Yeah.
Okay. All those in support of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Yeah.
Well, you voted for it now.
Well, I can vote, it didn't, I
Oh,
can't
okay.
make the motion.
All right.
I'll make a motion that we increase the daily rate, what's $5 for each, the old residents and the new residents. Is that correct?
Second it. All those in support of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Unanimous now.
That's even better.
Okay.
Let the record show that Mr. Chandler will have a plan here by February 1st in 5 years.
Okay,
Yep, that's,
Thank you.
so moved.
I have my input into the union, but it's not in support of where it stands right now. Just for that one hang-up.
well, that's, that's an important one, that's what negotiations are for.
Yeah, right.
The hard part, now I'll take the opposite side of negotiations.
Yep.
Is that neither side ever gets everything that they want, and there's usually the need for concession as much as distasteful as it can seem for the greater good. And I know that's the position that our attorney was taking. It wasn't because he disagrees, it's just a matter of sometimes you have to give in order to receive, and
I
that's.
realize that, and we've been giving, we haven't been
Well, that's-
receiving. I guess my point is, those individuals need to be in one position or in the other. I don't know if you follow me,
I
right?
do, no, I agree with you philosophically, but it's just from the practical part of negotiations is achieving that, which is relatively small dollars. It's actually more of a philosophical point than it is dollars.
It's
Because
a
we're talking-
principle, I think.
Well, it is a principle, and it is a principle. And it's not a bad one. But the idea of grandfathering in one group under rules for which they've been accustomed and preventing that practice going forward, it's half a loaf. But if it moves the whole process along, some would consider that to be a very reasonable concession. And I know our attorney does. But as commissioners, you get to make the decision.
Okay. I don't want to go back to negotiations next week. I want to get it through and done with. So the commissioners will have to vote on it next week, and if we don't get the majority of the commissioners to support it, then it won't get into our budget, and that'd be too bad. When is the union going to vote on it at the nursing home?
They are scheduled for, I saw the sheet today, December 8th. It's not before your
When?
meeting. It's December. It's not before your meeting next week.
But they were instructed,
We've gotta have
the
it-
instruction was by the delegation
26th.
that they wanted it in the budget this year, for sure.
Yeah.
They weren't gonna pay any retroactive pay, and is the union aware of that?
They are.
Okay.
And I think the only options that leaves for you is, you don't need the union agreement to put in a budgeted amount of money. That's a
Well,
commissioner's
why would we put
decision.
anything in if we don't have a union agreement?
The negotiating team agrees with it and is going to recommend it. But for reasons of their own choosing, and it wasn't our choice, we informed them of that yesterday.
Yeah.
They decided they didn't think they could get enough staff together next week with Thanksgiving week in order to be able to give them time to make an informed
I
decision.
told them the first day we met, it had to be done by the 26th,
Yep.
And Tom,
because our budget has to be in the 1st of December.
and Tom advised them of that yesterday. But their union negotiator, union rep, wasn't able to be here next Monday. We wanted them to meet next Monday.
Then it won't go in our budget. They'll have to put up with it later on. We've got to have their vote, and we've got to vote to put it in our budget.
Yep.
So you go back and you tell the union steward that she better get the group together and vote on it.
No, I can,
Otherwise,
There won't be any retroactive pay. When we settle, I guess we can't hold the delegation to it, but that was their recommendation, right?
yeah.
well,
But that's retroactive.
To April
Pass-
1st.
Pat,
April 1st.
if it gets approved after April 1st,
Yeah.
then it's not going to be retroactive to April 1st. It's going to
Yeah.
be starting right when it's approved.
correct.
So
But you
it could
could-
get approved before then.
But you could also put in whatever amount that you wanted to. You don't need the union's permission or agreement to budget. And that's, I mean, it's
Okay,
better, it's gonna be
Howie,
more accurate if
Howie,
it's
when
there.
we meet with the delegation, what are they going to say?
Well, they're gonna say that you budgeted.
You put money in there, but you didn't agree with it, and neither did the union agree with
And
it.
you didn't get started early enough, and it'll be all our fault. We
Yeah.
started back in August.
No, the beauty of this is, the commissioners, you have done your role right to the letter. You have met your time commitment. So while the delegation could take issue with the union's performance, they can't take issue with yours.
I can assure you they won't take umbrage with the union. They'll blame us. Guaranteed.
Well, this one, you will have your figure ready for them. You could have your figure ready, whatever figure you choose. Now, the union might choose to disagree with that figure, but that's, although, in this case, the issue isn't about the increase. We're not talking about a dollar issue,
I thought we were,
only for that one group.
that one group.
That's relatively small dollars.
David, are we allowed to talk about this negotiation?
We're
in
not,
public
we're
meeting?
not specifying which group.
But you have
That's the
substantial
point
agreement.
is, we gotta get it done.
You have substantial agreement. Now, I will push them, as you've requested, to get it done beforehand.
Okay.
Certainly, but Tom did try to do that yesterday. They seem to be reluctant to meet without their representative, who's unable to meet next week. I'm not sure that he's working next week.
Ah.
And I know that's not our problem, but it creates an issue.
All right, we'll move on.
Can I ask
See what
one-
you can do.
Can I ask one final, why do we have a two-tier rate system? Why do we have a rate for, people that have been here for X number of years and new people? How did that get started? And are we gonna end up with three-tier system or four-tier? I don't understand.
As the bottom tier passes away, everybody's gonna be in the new tier.
And it'll be just one?
And just
And
one.
then it'll be just one,
Okay.
yeah.
It was out of kindness. It was a matter of how do you give a $30 per day, which is a $900 increase, without looking like we're taking advantage. It isn't as though people are gonna pack up and leave and go someplace else. So it would look a bit exploitive if we try to give a $1,000 increase, $1,000 a month increase to somebody who's already here. So we thought, to be kind and gentle, that we'd correct the sins of the past, but not punish those who would come in good faith.
Okay, understand.
Okay, anything else regarding the nursing home budget?
Nope.
You haven't got any further changes?
None.
Okay. Then thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Denny.
So work session next and then public
Go ahead.
input.
Let's go right to the minutes.
I just had one thing I wanted to talk
Okay,
about.
go ahead.
I made a copy of this and I passed it out yesterday.
Oh, that's where it came from.
Mhm.
You said, okay.
I read the entire performance audit, and they did not address this issue at all, but this is a accounting standard that was set up by there's FASB and then there's GASB, and GASB is the government side of it. But what it's dictating is that
Excuse me, Dennis, what is the other one?
FASB.
Yeah, what is that?
That's private. I mean, that's private.
Private auditing versus government
Yep.
auditing, okay, thank you.
And what they said back in 2000 is that all municipalities, whether it be a state or a town or a county, has to have a fixed asset list and has to start depreciating. And if you read through this, in the first couple of pages, it summarizes it. My concern is, I don't think we've done this, just from the little I've gathered so far. And I don't know how we're gonna get a clean audit without, once we have an auditor in here that is paying attention to what we're supposed to be doing, we are woefully behind what we should be doing as an accounting standard. So I just want the commissioners to read it, and then sometime in the beginning of next year, we have to address it. But once we get a financial person in here, we have to come up to standard with this. And once we have this, they'll list out all of our assets, what their age is, what the value is, depreciation. It'll give us that much more ammunition to talk to the delegates to say, we need some capital plans. But this quantifies it. And so I just wanted everybody to read it and get a little understanding on it. It's written by some professors, but it's in layman's terms. But it'll give you an inkling of what we haven't done and what we should be doing as a county.
Okay.
So, why did you put it on our desk?
Because I wanted all three commissioners to be reading it,
Oh, okay,
because,
so maybe I have it on my desk then.
yeah, I had the office make a copy of it, so obviously, if it's not,
I don't have
then
it.
it's on your desk
Oh,
downstairs.
maybe I have
Denny, I remember seeing something in the audit for 2010 about depreciation. I don't remember seeing a list of assets, so
Yeah, well,
could that have been?
I'm not sure, Dave, but then, you know, what this is very specific about, we have to quantify our trucks, buildings, generators, any fixed asset. Which leads me up to the next question is.
I think we have that.
They should have it, because how are they doing the
I think we
audit?
have that, but
You need to have what assets you
Well,
have
go
and
ahead.
fix it.
When we're going through the budgets, we're talking about like some, and I don't know what the cutoff is here, but when we're buying equipment, most organizations will say if it's under $10,000, you expense it. If it's over $10,000, you capitalize it, and you put it on the fixed asset list. Now, are we doing that, and do we have a complete fixed asset list with life and value and everything, or don't we?
I don't believe we do.
We probably have it, but I don't think they use it in the budget.
Well,
But we have a list because, I mean, if they looking at doing an
I mean,
audit,
if
they
I went
ask for it.
downstairs, would I be able to open up a file and see every building, every truck, every
No.
generator? Okay,
I don't
then we don't have,
I would
We don't
try
have a
that.
fixed
I would
asset.
talk with Kathy Gary
okay,
when you get down.
okay.
Maybe we do.
Well, you guys
I
have been
haven't
here for a long time.
Yeah.
Just scan this and then see if you think we're in compliance with
Okay.
it. That's
Okay.
my only
Yeah.
point.
Okay.
seen. Okay,
On page 6 of our budget. Yes, we put in a request for a CFO.
yes.
I'd like to vote on that.
So, CFO, for what is this? For the chief financial?
Yes,
It's going to cost? How much is it going to cost?
$103,945.
For just a chief financial officer?
Well,
And you don't go with a
it's all
county,
the other things that go with it.
and you don't go
uh,
with a county administrator?
And what?
Will cost the same amount of money?
Yeah,
That will, you know, oversee
well, that's
the
what we
whole
put in our
county?
budget, whether, if we can get someone cheaper than that, fine.
How about we quit trying to get everything cheap
Well,
and see if we can't get one that's qualified.
well, that's the idea, to get a qualified one. That's why the budget is where it is.
Well, I'm in favor of a county administrator. That is what we need.
According to our performance audit, and I
It
think
said a
we
county
are in bad
administrator.
shape financially, I think we need a financial officer, a chief financial officer.
You know, I think we are
Go
in
ahead.
bad shape for 50 years, right? That is, we always, for
All right,
that has
Commissioner
been
Babson's got the
forever.
floor, go ahead.
I am gonna make a motion that we hire a chief financial officer, not to exceed the amount on our proposed, page 6 budget. And I'm only doing that so we can have some discussion, because
Okay,
is there a second?
I'll second it. Go ahead.
First of all, I think the biggest problems we have, anybody reading that financial audit, has to say it's the financial end of things. I'm extremely impressed with our soon-to-be commissioner, and I would like to give him a tryout for a certain amount of time. I think Dennis can help us. I don't have a financial background. You don't have a
No.
financial background. He has all kinds of financial background. And I'd like to see how it goes for a year. You know, maybe we can close some of these gaps we have here with someone that knows what that's been involved in finance all their life. It seems to me that it would be a little short-sighted to turn around and hire a financial officer right at this time when we may have the person we need sitting right at the desk.
I agree with that to a certain point, that I'm not sure he will want to put in the time involved in straightening out everything that we have.
That will take a long time.
I would let you have your point of view on it.
Yeah, I would not have the time or energy at age 73 to do the amount of work we need to bring this place up. I could be of assistance to
Helpful.
whoever we hire and be, you know, there to hold
Help with the
hands and
job
help 'em
description.
and everything
Yep.
else. But what we have to do here is more than I'm willing to bite off and work on. I've been retired for 20 years, Dave, and I don't want to go back to work full-time.
Okay?
And that's probably not the job of a commissioner.
Okay, yes,
To do
so,
that.
yes,
No,
so
I'm
I,
not saying he should be the chief financial officer, but I mean, just what he's contributed over the last 2 weeks is a
I
tremendous improvement over what we've had.
agree. I think his experience can help in getting a person hired regarding a job description. Like you said, he knows more than the two of us put together.
He's forgotten more than the two of us. But
Well, okay. But I think we could use his expertise
Absolutely.
in putting together a job description of a person that we need. I mean, he already stated that a CPA is not maybe what we're looking for. We may be looking for an
CMA.
CMA.
It might be a CPA, might be a CMNA, but yeah, we need somebody that's got, you know, if we can find a CPA that's broad and not a specialist, that might be the perfect person. The only, and I like CMAs, but most of them have been in the private sector and haven't been in the public sector, so that might be a handicap there a little bit, but we need a strong financial presence in here. There's just an awful lot of things that, they're not huge problems, but it's detailed issues
Yeah.
that we've got to address and get up to standard. And that takes a lot of attention. More attention than somebody my age is willing to put into it.
That's
So there goes my plan of getting a cheap financial office for 10 grand instead of 103.
Well, your sneaky way of going around the back door, you wouldn't agree with me saying it's cheap, but you could try to hire somebody or get them free, right?
Actually, I'd like to change the, my motion and raise that figure for salary and all the associated lines that go with salary to about 85,000.
I guess I'll take back my second.
Okay.
You
And
wanna
I'd
make
like,
the
I'd
salary-
like to make it a maximum of 85,000 with the associated, costs that go with it there on the sheet.
How do you feel about that?
You're saying the total that we're gonna pay is 85
Salary.
Salary.
salary?
And the
70
benefits
now.
go, and the benefits, associated benefits go
I
along
like
with it.
I like it, gives us some room.
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. And the thing is, you know, depending on who the finalists are and what they are, they can be more than just a chief financial officer. They can pick up some administrative functions that
Yep.
we don't want to deal with as commissioners.
Yep.
Because they're going to be here full time.
That's what I would
And,
say.
You know,
Yeah, Oswald.
this is an oversight group. That's how they were designed. Commissioners are an oversight, not here to run the thing all day, every day. And we need somebody here that is gonna pick up the pieces when the board isn't around.
Yeah,
So,
and oversight for other departments. That's why the other counties have county administrators. Talking to the people from the performance audit, I believe they recommend a county administrator, but I said the commissioners, all the years that I've been there, they don't want to have a county administrator. So if they don't want to have a county administrator, he said, well, at least they need to come up with a chief financial officer. But his recommendation, talking to him, he said, no, they really need a county administrator.
well,
But
you
I
know-
said they will not have one. So then he come up with with
I'll
that
second
at
the
least.
motion for 85,000.
Asha, I read that audit and I talked to Robin, and they do give, it's very optional, and they're saying, we like this, but if you don't do that, you can like this. And they're not saying one is primary over the other one, not the way I read it. They're pretty broad in their recommendations, and it really depends on the needs of this organization and how we want to move it into the future. And I'm not saying that in time this person might work up to be a county administrator, but where we start is with a financial administrator. That's my take on it.
I agree.
Well, I talked to them, so I know.
I understand, I did too.
I made a motion. You made the motion, I second it for
Yep.
85,000 salary with the corresponding rest of it.
Right.
Any further discussion?
Nope.
All those in support of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, nay.
I oppose.
Okay, 2-1.
Commissioner Sorensen?
Yep.
When you meet at the delegation on December 8th, that's your public hearing for the
Yep.
budget?
Yep.
So, but you already submit your budget to the state prior to that,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So this is just introducing the delegation to your budget, basically?
It's a public hearing. A public hearing, even though it's called by the delegation, is supposed to be open to the public, not the delegation members to ask us questions. They have time later.
Okay.
It's supposed to be to the general public to ask questions on our budget. And so our budget, once we get it approved, to be sent into the state, will go on our website and people can get it off that.
All right, I just wanted the public to understand the process, that if they disagree with any parts of your budget,
Yep.
really, they should just take that up with the delegation, because there's really not an opportunity to take that up with you. Is that?
Well, timing wise, by the time the delegates come in and are in the subcommittees, it's their budget.
Right.
Once we turn it over to them, it's not our budget anymore.
Right.
Right.
It's our
so
recommendation, but it's
Yep.
their budget.
They should just, like they always have in the past, just
Yeah.
address their concerns
Yeah.
directly
Yeah.
to the delegation.
Yep.
Thank you.
But the hearing is supposed to be a public hearing.
Right. Okay.
It's It's not a good process because the public doesn't get a chance to look at our budget ahead of time. Because we get it, finish it on the 26th, and it's printed and then sent to Concord.
So why don't the
other side,
commissioners
Dave,
give a
is that
public
if
hearing
even-
then? Oh,
I'll
since
I'll
we-
guarantee you, if we open it up to the public, if we got 3 people in here, I'd be surprised.
That'd be too many.
Yeah, they just they're not
Yeah.
interested. They're
Yep.
not gonna come in.
I agree.
Well, see what you can do.
Okay, so we got that in. Minutes of last July 9th,
Yes, you have a lot of minutes.
July
If
9th?
you want to start with July 9th, we can do that, I suppose. You all got a copy?
Let me see what I got.
That was one of the last ones that the previous recording secretary had done, and I couldn't find any record that you'd reviewed it after she left, so that's why that's on here.
So you're talking about July 9, what happened? This was not approved?
Yep, that's what I said.
Well, were there any changes?
do that?
So to July 9?
Yeah. June 4th, and this is July 9th, okay. Which was unsealed.
Oh, I hope nobody thinks that I can remember back to
I
July
know.
9th.
It was unsealed on June 10th.
It looks like on page 6 that there's a couple of blanks on page 6 and also on page 9. It looks like she was waiting for somebody to fill in the blanks, maybe. On page number 6, in the fourth paragraph down, I suppose, it says, the commissioners voted unanimously to approve a 1-year renewal of the contract with Northeast blank for service and maintenance on the emergency generator.
We can approve these minutes and Kathy Armstrong can look up the contract downstairs.
1 year's renewal of contract
Power
with
or
Northeast
whatever
for
it was.
service and maintenance on the emergency generator equipment.
The generator at the jail.
That's not that outfit up off 89? Caterpillar?
Northeast Caterpillar, no, that's southward.
Yeah, that's
Southwest
right, you're right.
Industries.
Okay, we'll have to let Kathy fill that in.
And then on page 9, I saw another blank. And that's really difficult to remember.
Did you say
Who made a motion? So I was just gonna take out the first clause in that sentence and just start it with the commissioners voted unanimously,
Yep,
because we don't, I mean,
can remember.
yeah. So I'll just take that out.
I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes of July 9th after page 6 blank is filled in and the other approved corrections are made.
I think I know what it is, Cummins Northeast. Don't they do the generator at the jail?
That's it?
It's a Cummings
And it may be-
distributor, but I'm not sure that's the name.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
And it might be Northeast Cummings, sounds pretty good.
Want to put Commissioner Sorensen in there, made the motion? Page 9.
Yeah,
Okay.
you can take the blame.
Okay.
Okay.
All those in support of the you make the motion?
Yes, I did.
Second it. All those in support of the motion of approving minutes for July, for July 9th, say aye.
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 Asha,
I didn't vote yet because I'm not done reading it.
And then, let's see.
Um,
Did you all get them on your email? I sent.
You send
Did
us
I
by
send
email?
these out again?
I don't
Yep.
think you send it by email.
I can't remember.
let's move on. Dave.
Motion passed,
And then
2-0-1. Okay,
Yep,
September 10th.
September 10th. That's the one I believe that Asha didn't like what was said in the minutes or something, is that right?
So I
Actually, what happened is the next week you had a meeting that wasn't actually a meeting. Remember? That you had posted as a non-public and then it
Oh,
turned
we
into
had
a
to change
public
it.
and then you had the Gainer hearing. I think it just got that you never had it on your agenda to approve these. I don't remember any issue with it. It just,
September 10th, wasn't that the meeting that we came in here just because we had got wound up in a non-public and went into public and we never announced it?
no,
And we had to come back on Friday and do it again?
no, that was the 17th.
That was the 17th, okay.
So,
So what are we looking now? September
September
10th?
10th, yep.
You see where there was a ruling that federal employees could not participate in the ice challenge? I just read that somewhere.
Some people have died doing that. That's probably why.
Murray was asked to begin working on a 5-year maintenance plan for the new nursing home. Commissioners discussed adding a line item or reserve fund to the 2015 budget for the purpose of setting aside funds to pay out employee earned time. Do I hear a motion to approve the September 10th minutes?
I'll make a motion, we approve the September 10th minutes.
Do I hear a second?
Just 1 second, I'm almost there.
You second it?
No,
No.
I.
I'll second it.
I have.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in support of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, nay.
1 second, so I think I have 2 of the same, so I already read it. Yes, I voted for it.
You vote in support of it?
Yep.
Thank you. Then so voted.
What's next, Davey? October?
October
We have all
1st.
those.
October 1st?
Yep. And Commissioner Sorensen wasn't here that day,
Right.
so that was waiting until,
So that was actually, we had only one item, right? We discussed only the grant.
it was a short meeting. We had a couple things.
Yeah, it was like a half hour. Not even
Do I hear a
half
motion to
hour.
accept the minutes?
1 second, can I read what it is?
I can't vote on this, so
Okay, yeah,
could I hear
so,
a
I'll make a
motion?
motion, we accept the minutes of
October?
October 1st.
second,
Second. All those in support of the motion? Any further discussion? All those in support of the motion say aye.
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 And so
You
voted.
didn't want to put in there that Vice Chairman Babson ran a fantastic meeting.
Oh, no, we're not.
I didn't write up the minutes, so
Okay. October 15th.
no, I won't sign it, you sign it.
Is that the last one? Or do we have
No.
more? We have more?
Then you have last week's after this one.
Oh, so that is the 15th.
So the
October 15th.
October 15th, you
Yes.
made a motion to approve them, but it says Commissioner Kenney said her statements were not accurately reflected in those minutes. So I was still waiting her response.
That's
as
the
to-
15th one?
Yeah,
Okay.
I've still been
See
waiting
what it
for her to
is.
send something that she'd like to have in the minutes. So
That is October 15th. Okay, so where was that? Was it public input?
sorry, I don't remember.
Well, I have to watch the tape. I didn't watch the tape then.
Okay,
Okay.
well, I think that we should table this one at least till next week. And please, Commissioner Kenny,
So,
you've been asked 3 or 4
October 15th.
times to do this. Would you please do it this week?
Correction, nobody asked me 3 or 4
Yes,
times.
they have. We've
No.
been here on when we've gone over the minutes that haven't
So
been done. And
October
it's been on the
15th.
emails. I've seen it 2 or 3 times. I'll let next week's.
Delusional. I will watch the video, and that is from October 15th, right? So let me put it in.
So we have November 12th. Do you have those? The public minutes for the 12th and the non-public? Okay.
Why didn't we accept these as approved? You've made the correction that I asked for so close to and to on election day. You've
This is-
corrected them. Why didn't we do it?
This is last week's meeting
Is that in the 12th?
that we have to do today.
12th?
Yeah.
Well, how did you get to make that correction that,
No, this was last week when you were here, you were approving the 11-5 minutes.
oh, I'm
And that was
sorry,
the-
okay.
That
yeah,
was the correction
okay.
you wanted in.
That was on the 11/5 minutes.
Yep.
Okay, thank
So
you.
that's just showing what was changed on those.
So which number are we now, which minutes?
November
12th.
12th.
Okay. November 12, this is last week. right?
in reading this, apparently we're not going to take any action on a case manager between the, for the new whole program. Well, the group was asked to prepare a job description for this proposed new hire and to present it to the commissioners for
Yep.
further consideration, so that hasn't been done.
Okay, page 3 to 7. It said, Commissioner Babson said, I emailed out to email to several people. Do you have that email that I emailed out to several people? I'd like to have it if you have that. And also,
What are you talking about?
Right?
page 3.
Yeah.
What email?
The
You said that
I
email
think from
was-
last week you
was
mentioned an
received in
email
the
about
commissioner's
the
email.
retirement system. Why were the checks not cashed?
Heather
If-
said the
If
email
you
was
read the
received in
email, it said-
commissioner's
the
email, and
lady
before
said it
the commissioners
was-
had a chance to view it. Kenny emailed it out to several people. That's exactly what I said, and it's accurate.
Yeah, okay, so, and did you bring several
Well,
people who are
I
emailed
shouldn't,
out?
I didn't say several people because I didn't know. I said
Did you-
it was forwarded by you.
Okay, can you bring out the forwarded that I forwarded to several people? If you can give that to me, that would be great.
I'm not gonna give it to you. I told you that the server said that you had it. You can go see John Rich if you want. I'm not gonna go in. It
So
clearly said that
so
you
now
sent
the
it out.
server said that I had it, and now John Rich, so that is his job, is looking what Commissioner Kenny is doing. Well, I want to have from John Rich to who it is forwarded, if you
I
can give that
think-
to me.
Well, go ask him.
Yeah, okay, I will.
Okay, I think the point is that you sent something out that was addressed to the commissioners, and we didn't have a chance to see it before it was sent out.
I
correct?
just looked back at my email, and I sent it to Babson, and I stated in it the checks were not cashed, because he was CC Cordelli on information, he wanted to have an update. And I said, we received the email, it was not cashed. That email what you're
Okay.
talking about, we had it the whole month. So how can you say you don't have the time, you don't even have the time to read it?
I didn't say
email-
that. I
That
said I
email was
didn't-
a whole month there. And
Kenny, I didn't
Babson
say-
was CC information to Cordelli asking for update. And then I emailed back and I said, we got an email that there were not checks cashed. So I sent it also to the commissioner, so you had a chance to
Okay.
read it.
Could I have a point of order, Mr. Chairman? Are these,
Commissioner Babson,
we're
go ahead.
approving minutes, did these accurately reflect the conversation from last week?
Commissioner Babson?
Yes, Commissioner Kenny, I'm sorry you don't come in here that often, you don't follow up on the work. The thing that Mr. Cadelli was asking about had absolutely nothing to do with the letter about the retirement system and the checks. His request was because Mrs. Gary was being held up giving Bulio information because the Department of, or the retirement department hadn't given them the information they requested, which was nothing to do with the checks.
Well, I believe you were the one that said it yourself when Cordelli was here and he asked, when are the audits done, or somebody was asking, I believe it was Cordelli, and you said they're waiting for information, Bullia was waiting for information. For
Absolutely.
the New Hampshire Tire System.
That's
Well,
absolutely correct.
when I
That's
got
exactly
an
what I
email,
said, but it was not the
I
check
emailed it to
Okay.
you and I
email that you
said,
sent out to everybody before we had a chance to read it.
What do you want to correct the minutes?
you had the email the whole month, and plus I sent it to both of
Do
you.
you want to correct the minutes? Do you have any corrections?
Well, my statement is, well, she just put in what Babson said, and she doesn't put in anything what I said.
What did you say?
Well,
What
then
do you-
vote against it.
That you had an email the whole month.
Couldn't say that.
It was a whole month, and I said it was public information. Didn't I say that?
No.
That is like she writes, we have minutes now. It's like how we have a bias writer writing for the Carroll County Independent.
No, 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 no.
Commissioner
There
Kenney,
we
you're
go.
out of line. If you
One-sided-
want to talk about an employee, I would ask you to do it in
That's enough.
non-public.
That's enough.
I am
One-sided
an employee of the
and
county. Thank
twisted.
you, you can stop.
No, it's enough.
One-sided, twisted,
That's
and
enough.
bended.
That's enough.
Yeah.
There you go.
That is how she was writing, one-sided,
So,
twisted,
look,
and abandoned,
do you
and
have
that is
any
how she
minutes-
write the
do you have any
minutes.
changes to the
Like I
minutes?
said, she said nothing in from me.
If you'd like corrections,
You know you're
send them
out of
to me.
order. You're the employee now, and you are not writing now for the paper, right?
I'm the
She is
chairman.
commissioner.
Yeah,
Stop it.
but I'm talking,
Stop it.
and
Stop
she
it.
has a big mouth.
Stop it.
Yes. Thank you.
Do you have any changes to the minutes?
I already
Last
said,
question.
I already said mine is not in.
If you have corrections and you want to send them to
All right,
me,
that's
I'd be
enough.
happy.
You
to
know,
send them.
stop, you're the employee of the county now. You're
I'm
not working
talking
for the
to
paper.
the chair, not to
You're not,
you.
you're not working for the paper, right?
Hey, hey.
You shouldn't
Hey.
even be here.
Stop it.
Pardon me.
Stop it.
Excuse me.
I make a motion that we accept the minutes of
I'll second it.
November 12th. Motion made and second. Any further discussion?
Yes. I want to have everything what I said, I want to have that in the minutes, correctly.
What'd you
And
say?
not who it is from Bennett and
I've
Twisted.
asked you 3 times. What did you say?
I
What do you
said it
want?
was not public information, and the email, the commissioners had it the whole month. And I want to have from John Rich who it is forwarded with, okay? I want to have that from John Rich.
Move the question, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. All those in support of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, nay.
I'm opposed.
Okay. Okay. Are we up to date now?
I think so.
All
I
right.
thought we had one session of non-public we had to do, but I don't see him here.
Okay.
For November 21st.
The list that we had for the, somewhere that somebody gave us this morning had one non-public on it, David. But I don't see the minutes here.
All right, we've got to, not right now, but we've got to write a response to the delegation regarding the performance audit. Why don't we start drafting up something for next week's meeting?
Okay.
I'll draft up something and see if we can't at least say what we are doing as a result of the performance audit. Okay? All right, we handle the benefit payout, right?
Are we on the, are we on
Looking at
the,
that, yeah.
action plan?
Yeah. Spyglass, we still gotta get a hold of
He
Spyglass,
still hasn't called me back.
okay?
Not called back.
Dave, are we meeting next Wednesday morning?
Yeah, yeah. That's when we'll take a vote on the final budget. So we got our last chances to do anything there.
I'm gonna make an attempt to show up here, but we may be having Thanksgiving at my house on Wednesday if my son has to work Thursday, so,
Thanksgiving, Thanksgiving Thursday?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
So,
No, Wednesday, he said.
I'm available for
Thanksgiving
Thanksgiving.
at my home is on Wednesday, not Thursday, I think, if my son has
Would
to
you
work
invite us
Thursday.
down to have a meeting
I
at your
was gonna say,
house?
I'm available on Wednesday.
So, so if I'm here Wednesday, it might be an abbreviated visit.
Okay.
Okay.
First item on the agenda is approve the budget, because that's got to get done. Probably the only item on the agenda, unless there's some last minute things.
One of us has to make a call to Mr. Bulio and see how he's coming along on 2011. and
Since you have done that in the
2012.
past, please,
I'll call
would you
him
do
up.
it again?
Yep.
What was the call for?
The call is to find out where we stand on the financials and auditing on the 2011. You're supposed to look at non-public session tracking form?
I already
You've
gave
done
a
that?
few weeks ago what needs to be done. Yep.
Where are
And
they?
I am.
didn't I say it a few weeks ago? I did give an account. And I have a question. You said you had a register of deeds letter. I never saw that. Can I see that? What you've been talking
Let's
about?
go back to one thing at a time, Mr.
Yeah.
Chairman.
Yeah.
The non-public session tracking minutes, that's because we were missing some minutes,
Yeah.
according to the sheet. Has that been corrected?
Are we all up to date on non-public minutes?
I believe, yeah, we're up to date. Yeah, because didn't you have her doing the non-public?
I'm asking you, are we up to date?
I believe so, we're up to date. I didn't receive the minutes, what she took from the last few weeks. I don't have
Well, then
that.
how could we be up to date?
She needed to give it to me, but she said she has done it, so I didn't get that. So if I get that, I can look at it.
This has been on this thing since the 9th of September, Asha. Are you going to get us some answers?
I already said a few times in the meeting what needs to be done, right?
All right, would you update us again on that?
Okay, I will check it out and I will give you next week an
Thank
update.
you. Administrative building parking, we're not gonna do that.
That one's gone.
That one's gone. Bank account reconciliation form?
I have, when that, I took the template and I changed it to each one of the departments that has a checking account, and they have received their forms and they should be sending them back in.
So the
Or having-
October's not completed, right?
No,
Okay.
but this, neither, because it was on the old computer's hard drive before he upgraded it downstairs. When he upgraded it, he didn't put it back in. He just put it back in last week,
Okay.
and I sent it out to Lynette sent it out to the department heads that have checking accounts. And so they should have them and be able to change the template to their own department, and we should begin seeing them regularly now.
Nepotism policy?
That was from, Asha was going to get that done, and I believe that was in our minutes of October 1st, only 8 weeks ago. It's about time to get done, maybe.
All right, have we sent a letter to the wheel?
Is that gonna happen?
Are you gonna put together a nepotism
Well, it's
policy?
not my job to put together, but I can do some research and get some information what
I
other
think you're the
people
one that
doing.
brought it up.
Yeah, because remember, when we had an attorney here with a background in employment law, she brought it up to the commissioners too, about nepotism, that we shouldn't have in HR working, no organization is doing that, having HR people working, and then they have family in the other departments. And she
We all
brought
know
it
what
up.
nepotism is. You were gonna begin the process by coming up with a draft so we could begin to talk about it.
Why don't you
I
talk
will
with a couple
check in
other
that
counties
again.
and see what they have for
I
policy?
looked up the towns and a couple places.
Okay, wheelchair donation? You brought that up, Commissioner Babson?
Oh, blank on that one.
That was, last week, Mr. Chandler was in, and he, I believe it was last week or the week prior, said that a couple from Wolfboro donated a
Oh, had
power
donated,
wheelchair.
yeah.
Electric
Yep.
wheelchair.
And he was sending a letter, but you indicated the commissioner's office would also be sending one. So
Okay.
this is just a reminder to send a
Thank you, I
letter.
will.
Okay.
That's all.
That's-
Whole bond reconstruction, I guess we got that changed. Sell the green truck? I don't know, do you know where that stands?
Yeah, he's,
Have we got rid of the truck?
no, it's still out there, but he's gonna part it out.
Okay. Trail project,
The
I've
high school claims they've cut the telephone poles, squared them up for the two bridges that they have to put out.
Yeah.
We're waiting to see if they arrive.
I walked that, and there's still, the end of the trail still needs to be brushed out.
Okay.
Kitchen, letter to Boca, response to her list of questions.
Yes, and she asked me that
That was done?
Tuesday night at the, oh, that's another, well, I guess we spoke about it, but she asked me again on Tuesday night at the advisory meeting whether we answered the questions.
So we did.
I don't, no, we didn't. It was a long list.
We did, but
of-
we didn't send it.
No, we didn't answer it. Did we answer the questions?
You
I don't
ans- I
remember.
think you answered a few
was a
during your
couple we-
meetings.
We answered the two that are three that we could, but there was some in there we couldn't
There was
answer.
a couple we couldn't answer, you're right.
I don't think you finished.
Probation office, they've come back with their new design. Bob Murray has been capably handling that. The ozone system.
So is that going out for bid, or was it?
Yes, it'll go out for
It
bid
did?
again. No, it hasn't gone out yet, but it will go out for bid again because of the changes are substantial.
Okay. And the ozone system? Well, that was, that Murray, Bob Murray brought that up, for quotes for the laundry.
Make the water hotter, make the water
Yeah.
cleaner, make it boil
Yeah.
faster or whatever it does.
So not yet.
Well, we
All right.
don't know what Murray's done with it. He's pretty good in following up, so.
Rockingham offenders, Commissioner received draft contract on 11/12/14.
You signed that today, right?
Yep.
So that's done.
Yep.
Well, I'll tell you, this is helpful, Melissa.
Yes, it is. Awarded contract, prime roofing. You said that was coming out of the wall.
Money.
Yeah. And he also said he was going to put together a 5-year capital plan.
Yep.
Fournier land dispute. You know, I think we ought to handle that after we get our budget in.
Yeah, that's not a high priority right this minute. We
It's
gotta
been
get our-
going on
we gotta
for
get our
years.
budget done.
Is that the one down in Union?
Yes.
Yeah.
Which thing?
Do you know
I-
about that?
I don't understand, yeah, I've been following it, and I've been at some of the meetings with the selectmen. He wants his property to be, in effect, moved to, or zoned in Middleton, where his taxes are gonna be higher than they're in Wakefield, and I'm still, I can't understand the motivation, but it's been going, I think the selectmen from Wakefield and Middleton were gonna get together, and were you guys involved with that?
Well, it's a county
Only-
line,
I know it is.
and so we have to be
And the
involved.
markers supposedly are missing, they were back, one of them was back there 30 years ago, and somebody said they knew where it was, and then the house got, I mean, it's,
Yeah, it's,
yeah, and it's costly, because those survey lines they're gonna have to be reestablished,
yep.
and I'm not sure who's gonna end up paying for it.
Can I suggest, after our budget is in, that we write, well, we'll have a meeting with the New Hampshire Association of Counties on what, the 4th, whatever that Friday is of December? Let's get a hold of George McLaris, see what he knows about it, and try to come to some conclusion as to whether it's in our county or his county.
When I talked to DRA, they said they were only interested if it was a large
And it's not,
change of, and it's not.
It's not, it's very, it's not large at all.
looks like the guy is right, from what I could see out of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He had a surveyor come in and did it.
a surveyor that the Department of Revenue Administration recommended,
Mhm.
and then they gets done and they won't accept it.
Yeah.
But we've got more important things to do. It's important to him, but we've got to get our budget done.
Yeah.
One last
Okay.
thing for work session.
Yep.
2 times this week, people have talked about raising food and where to keep it. And I'm thinking that here we've got, 1 or 2 big freezer, not freezer units, but refrigerators out in the old nursing home. Would it be to our advantage, if for no other reason, if they, oh, I know what it was the budget committee and the food banks they're looking for places to keep food. Why wouldn't we offer to them they want to pay a small electricity fee?
They would.
No, I said if they're willing to, why not allow them to use the freezer units?
We have a freezer, and we do have two
Walk-in
walk-in
units.
freezer and two walk-in refrigeration units. This is for the food bank?
Yeah, they were both of them were the food banks that came before the budget committee in Ossipee.
It's there, I guess.
Do we still need them?
They're
No,
not
we
being
don't use
used.
them, it's all the food's over at the new nursing home,
Well, have we thought about selling them?
They're
built in.
attached to the building. I mean, they're part of the building. The freezer unit
Comes
could
apart,
be,
yeah.
is outside.
Well,
That
we
could be
bought one at the
detached.
food pantry that, it's in sections, you take it apart, and it's got a floor, walls, and ceiling with a compressor on the top, so
Yep.
that is a saleable unit.
These are built in, these are part of the woodwork over there.
Except the freezer isn't. The freezer
freezer-
is an outside,
Yeah.
it's attached, but it sticks out from the building.
Okay,
The refrigeration units are part of the building.
okay.
But to further answer your question, Denny, there's been some interest shown by a couple of groups to come in, and the original plan was to rent the old kitchen out as a
Yeah, I
unit.
read that in the paper, yeah.
And if we take those units out or sell them, then
You can't,
we've
yeah,
lost the.
you've lost the value of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, okay.
But so while they're there, and I'm listening to these people talking about they have no place to store their food, I'm thinking, we get these things here just sitting there, why don't we let them use them? I think we ought to have Bob Murray come in and explain to us either why we can or why we can't.
Yeah, I think we could do that. I don't see any reason why we couldn't. They're not being used. Maybe it's better that they're running, actually. You got anything else on the work session?
I
No.
have, yeah.
You have?
Yes, I bring here, there are several checks not signed. I just want to know why my checks are not getting signed anymore. Those were strictly going to the commissioners meeting here, to the county, the one I attended. And also, Babson has no authority. I believe I was last week here. And I have the secretary down, cut my check in half. And I noticed that, and I said, you pay half of my mileage. And she looked at it, she said she will correct it and cut half of the other check next week. Now I'm coming, she told me she's embarrassed what Babson is doing. He wrote void on it, and then he said, don't pay the commissioner, don't give her any money. And then he wrote a note, she need to attend 80% of a conference as required, and don't pay her. That is the note, I guess.
I
if
think the
read it
reason's
good.
right on there, Commissioner.
Yeah, you wrote that. And
You
you don't have the authority. And what are you coming to tell me? What didn't I attend?
You weren't there for 80% of the meetings.
I was. Where were you? You were not there 80% of the meetings.
Commissioner Kenney, it met Monday and Tuesday. There was a Monday morning session, a Monday after.
Yes, and I went Monday there.
Are you gonna let me finish?
I went
All right,
Monday
okay.
there.
Let him finish.
No,
Okay.
because he's not telling the
No.
truth. I was Monday there.
Whether he tells the truth or not, let him finish. Go ahead, Commissioner.
Go
Babson.
ahead.
Go ahead, Commissioner Babson.
Monday.
Hey.
You said something for Monday. Go ahead.
You out of gas yet?
Commissioner Babson. go
Oh,
ahead.
I never run out of gas.
I can tell. Monday, it was 2 sessions. Tuesday was 2 sessions. Monday session, at 10 minutes of 1, you practically knocked me over coming up from your car to get the meal. You were not there in the morning. That puts you below the 80% mark right there. The next morning at 10:30, we got through, and nobody saw you after that, and you put in a check for $100 and something for mileage and attended somewhere around 60% or less. So yes, I wrote voided.
Yeah, well, that is not true. And I attended most of the session. I believe almost all of it.
Are you gonna say you were there Monday morning?
I came Monday there. They didn't pay a hotel for me for 2 days like they did
I
for
didn't ask you that. Were
employees.
you there Monday morning
I
for the session?
believe I came Monday morning there, yes.
Yeah,
I
well, you
was
almost
Monday
knocked me over 10 minutes. They had cleaned
I
one
was
of the
before-
buffet tables off
I
as you
think-
moved in to eat.
I think I was before 12 there.
I think we voted on a
Yes.
policy that you have to attend 80% of the
Yes,
conference.
but I did, and he
Otherwise,
does.
you wouldn't get paid.
Yes, I did. He doesn't have the authority to do that. I was there Monday morning. I attended that, and we have a commissioner babysitting, right? You didn't attend that.
What
I will
session
bring.
did you
All
go
right.
to?
Oh, you know what? You're nothing else than a babysitter, right?
Okay, what I'd like to see for
And-
these two
and-
checks,
And
Commissioner
this-
Kenny,
What?
I'd like to see the backup for these two checks.
Yeah, the backup is downstairs.
I'd like to see it before I sign
Yeah,
it.
so why didn't you sign it? Those are old, this is from
I'd
all
like
the
to
way
see
from
it.
to July.
I'd like to see it.
But every time you have to sign a check, you get it with a backup. That is how you get a check.
Before I sign
So you
those,
have,
either
so
one
you
of
have,
those.
so you have the backup.
I wanna see the
But they
backup.
told me that both commissioners refused to sign it. And,
You weren't there.
what?
No, we're talking about.
You're talking about something else.
Mileage,
Mileage to what?
yeah. Mileage to here.
So the babysitter fined, I was not there, and I was there.
Well, one against the other, I guess.
So then we have here, I'm not done, we have Babson taking for the whole month of August. He is billing the taxpayers for mileage.
Have you got a canceled check?
So you cover your trek now, right? You want to cover your treks quick.
Do you have?
Didn't you know what? I have the floor
What
now,
are we
right?
ta-
I'm
what are we
talking,
ta-
right?
yeah,
I'm
what-
talking, okay?
What are we talking about?
Okay, because when I talk and he talk, you never say anything to him. Okay,
Your
I'm talking
turn.
about
What are you talking about?
August, Babson took mileage money for every day coming to the county,
Mm-hmm.
right? And now every month when he has his mileage check, it doesn't come to me
Is this
anymore.
his?
I don't see them.
Is that his?
I don't see the mileage checks anymore because he signed everything himself. You sign it with him, the mileage checks now, so I don't
What's the
see it
rest of
anymore.
What was the rest of it?
That is mine stuff.
Mr. Chairman?
So
Would you ask
he
Commissioner
signed for the
Kenny
month of
Come
August.
upstairs
Okay,
with a
wait a minute.
canceled check?
You know what? I'm not there. He signed for the month of August every day, and you sign it for him. Whitmer is signed it, and he signed it himself. That is malfeasance. What is going on? And I hope that you go quick home again and that you pay it back, right? Because I will order the court that you pay it back.
Can I see the rest of it?
Because like the other day, when you say here in a public meeting, you don't take mileage, and I went down and I asked the secretary to give me the mileage checks, what did you do? Didn't you run home quick and said you're going to pay $60 back? But you didn't pay all back. You took more money. You pay only a part back.
Are you done?
Not done. And my other thing here is, let's see if I got it here. One more. Did you have that?
Yeah, I got this right here.
Oh, okay. Can I have that back?
I want to have that.
This is my stuff. It's my stuff. What I said. He didn't sign it. He wrote
Could I
a
look
note.
at it? Could I look at it?
Oh yeah. I just gave it to you,
Oh, you did.
and I gave this also to you, and you said you
Yeah,
wanted
I've
to have
seen
the
those.
backup. So this is also here. And I have one more item. So where did it go?
Commissioner Babson, what I would have done is I would have subtracted out that item right there and paid her for the rest of it.
She got paid $102.
Oh, she did?
What?
No, it's right here. I believe.
What's the other check?
And the check-
one
This
that
is
I-
for July.
And
The one that I
and
voided
the
out
other, what
was
he
this
wrote in
one
the
here.
note is for the times that I
this
came
was-
at the commissioners meeting.
voided
That is
out.
why he
Was
wrote
that
a note on.
102.11? Isn't that the same as this?
Yeah. It's not voided, I didn't sign it, but it's not voided.
Yeah, he
I
wrote
wrote
voided.
voided, the one that I
He wrote
voided.
voided on it, and he doesn't even have the
Right there, he
authority,
voided
right?
it.
That's right, it's for $80.
So what you did is
That's the one I
illegal.
told
You don't
I
have
was
the
gonna give her
authority.
any- Because Kathleen couldn't read this, so she only gave her, it was 182. She thought it was 103, so she wrote her another check for $80. The $80 one I voided because she didn't come to the meeting.
All right, so this one here is okay.
Get the
102.11.
102 is all right.
I don't know this one, I gotta have a backup on this one.
Yeah, well, she said you refused to sign it. Okay, I have another item here. I had another one because I didn't bring my paperwork, but I have something here. I see Representative Thijs Hirsch that Babson is signing all her checks, right? And why are you putting smileys on all her checks?
None
Why-
of your damn business. why
Yeah,
I'm putting
it is. Why are you putting,
Does it affect yours? If I could put a
What-
big lip down like that on yours, I would.
why are you putting smileys
What
there?
difference does it make?
It makes a
What
difference.
difference does it make to you
It makes
what
a
I put
difference.
on
Why
my
are you
friend
putting-
Susan's
Okay,
check?
okay. Is
Oh,
the-
your
is the
French
mileage-
check. Oh, so you're
Hey,
you're
is the
signing all
mileage-
your French checks, right?
Is the mileage correct?
I didn't check that yet because somebody noticed to me
That's the
to
only
look
thing
at
you're
it.
questioning?
So, and so you are signing all your French checks, right? You just say it's your friend, and you're signing all your French check and you put smileys. Okay,
You got anything
and
else?
what was your question? You said you needed to back up from this?
I want the backup for this one,
Is
I already
there-
signed that one.
Is there
Oh,
actually
you
an
signed
issue?
one?
Is there supporting documents for that?
I'm looking for
first
supporting
check, or-
document for the
Yeah,
July
put a
There is-
smiley face
one.
on it, yeah.
Okay, I just.
Are you on-
know.
are you done now?
Actually, I have to write down.
Yes, for now.
You are done?
Yes, I have a couple
Okay,
more
I got something I
items.
want to bring up.
Okay, bring up.
I heard-
Anything.
It's my understanding that you have been sending out 91A or right to know requests to other towns and organizations regarding our HR person.
I
Why
sent.
are you doing that?
Because taxpayers are asking me and they have questions and I ask them to send out a 91A themselves. And they asked me to send it out. And I sent
you-
it only out to one organization.
Are you doing this as a commissioner?
I can send out as a citizen, a taxpayer, as a commissioner, I can send out 91A. But I send it out as just a taxpayer. I asked for it.
You sent it out as a taxpayer, not
Yeah.
on commissioner's letterhead?
No, I never sent out 91A on commissioner's letterhead.
Okay.
I call.
My next question
I call
is,
for
do you
91As.
think that by doing that, you put the Board of Commissioners here in Carroll County, I'm not sure what the wording is, but basically, people are going to start to think that it didn't come from the Board of Commissioners, it came from one. And so what are those Board of Commissioners doing in Carroll County? Do you ever think
No,
about
I
what
never
you do when
did,
you send
because
that
I
out?
send out a lot of information what I want for state agency for years on the 91A. I've been doing that for years, so what is the issue? Anyone can send out 91As
I-
and for ask for any, people are sending
I-
here also 91As, right?
I didn't say you couldn't. What I asked you was, do you think that that shows bad
Puts us in a bad
feelings?
light.
Puts us in a bad light
I don't think
by you
so.
sending that out?
Right.
To get something for the HR person who has
I-
worked here
I-
a year and a half already?
I can ask for anyone. People still have questions, and they are calling me and they asking me, and I said I don't have the
I
answer,
bet
but
your
I can
phone is
find
ringing
out.
off the hook.
But
Yep,
oh,
what kind of questions? There must be so many of them.
and I
All right.
asked them to do it themselves,
All right.
and they probably did themselves a few. And I said,
All right,
if
you
you
get my
don't
point.
have the answer,
You understand
will
what I
find it.
said, right?
You know what?
Do you understand what I said? Just say yes or no. Do you understand what I just said?
No, I think
You
I
don't understand it. Want me to explain it again? It puts
No,
us
no,
in a
no,
bad
no.
light. when they-
Why? Why if I ask information? I'm asking non-stop information by
Because you're
state
trying
agencies.
to dig up dirt. The
She's-
woman's come here.
she's been here for a year
She's done
and
a
a
good
half.
job.
So under
We
the
voted to have her work
91A,
here,
what do you say?
and now you're
You-
sending out 91A, trying to
what?
dig up dirt on her. That's the only reason you'd be sending it out. I've heard you say a dozen times she doesn't have a college degree. You put in a 91A request for all her travel, all her expenses, all her...
Yes, because you
all
know
her-
why I put it in? I
No, I
was
don't
in a
wanna listen
nursing
to
home
you.
and
Don't
3
let anybody
employees
else.
said she is never here. She's always on conferences, training and whatever. 3 employees told me that. I said, But I'm not here every day, so I don't
You're
know.
never here.
They say they went a
Okay.
few times here and she was not there. And then when I get an email between Howie and everything was going back and forward, I ask her, and I have the right to ask her.
You put
Right?
in a
And
91A request.
you know
You
what?
can- you
And
can-
I will continue to put everywhere 91As out. That's my right. I can ask any public information, and people sending 91As to the county too, right? So they can do that. Why don't you question them too?
Nobody
No,
is. Wait a
you
minute.
two think that you have the authority and that you are the boss over me and can control me what I need to do and what not.
No.
I will continue to ask and put out if the taxpayers are asking and said, there are certain things going on and people from the town are calling me and said, this is what's
Right.
going on. I will find out the information, right? Whatever, if you want to twist or bend it that I'm digging out, no. Anyone can put out the 91A.
I'll bet
And
you
I will
wait a minute,
continue to
wait a
put
minute.
out
in
the
the town of
91As.
Wakefield that
Are you
knows the
done?
name of our
Are you
HR
done?
person.
Are you
What?
done? Are you done talking?
Yes, you
Okay.
can talk.
You didn't get my point. I didn't say you couldn't put out 91A requests. What I said was,
You know,
does that
I
put us
get
in,
it.
could I finish?
You said, why
Could
would
I
I put you in a
finish?
bad light if I put 91A out?
Because it's not coming from the board, it's coming from you.
Why does it have to come from a board?
Okay. Enough
Why?
said. I think the point's been made.
Can I just have
We'll move on.
clarification for the minutes that that the Board of Commissioners have not voted to investigate the HR director?
That's right, and we
The
don't,
this is one commissioner acting on her own?
She is not representing the
Okay.
board.
I'm just making, okay.
we went through her application. She's been working here for a year and a half. We don't have to go and follow up on where she's worked, what she's done, and muddle in that.
No, but you know,
person.
if you have a
We do not
hiring
have a personality
process,
conflict with her, but apparently somebody does.
you need to do a good job with the hiring process, and you didn't ask the
By
proper
golly,
questions.
I think we did, and we got a good
No, you
person.
didn't. You
Um,
didn't.
Anything else to be brought up today?
No, thank you.
Have we had enough?
Yeah.
I have a few things to bring up, but I will bring it up next week.
Here's a letter you didn't see.
Yeah, that's a letter you shouldn't see. Don't say we didn't share it with you. Okay, public input? Ed, you got any public input?
Is it Ed or is it Representative Comeau?
He is
Um,
not.
have you
Yeah.
been-
If he's not yet.
Elect Comeau.
Elect.
Yeah.
I'll save my comments for December 8th.
There,
For December 8th?
What's gonna happen then?
the public hearing for the
Oh,
budget.
Public hearing. Okay. No public input?
Nope.
Move to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to
I'll
adjourn.
Second it? All those in support of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
3:55.
I have 3:56.